right, start recording. So, good morning on a Tuesday, on the 20th day of December 2022. Good morning, savages. Today, we have, and I've done like my good mornings, but you know what? I haven't done a recorded good morning for a while. So, we have Steady Eddie, good morning, and Lady Ninja. We have Muko, Metaphobe, good morning. Let's see. Did I already say Toadload? I'll say Toadload again. Good morning. And then you guys have been talking, and then someone just talked, and then my whole thing just skipped forward. All right. I know that we have the Gray Man in here. Oh, let's see. Oh, Super Trucker. Good morning. Okay, there we go. All right, let's see. Wow, you guys are just busy talking. And am I missing it? And I know Lady Ninja is here. Okay. Yes, 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 yes. And then we're down to the bottom here. Okay, yes, good morning. And then over here in the Jitsi, we have Lady, who's at the puppy salon. We have Iceburn, and I think that this is Pitbull Doorbell right here. Now, do you guys remember yesterday? We had a wonderful visit from Santa Claus. Wasn't that nice? Were you guys here for yesterday's show when Santa Claus came and visited? Wasn't that special? I was so pissed off after I realized that I left some of the fragment images from the previous scene up and they were blocking out portions of Santa Claus. Grayman, I think it was you who pointed that out to me. Thank you. So I was able to remove those so we could actually have a genteel talk with Santa. That was very cool. I enjoyed that. I haven't seen Santa in decades. So, yeah, it was good. It was very good. All right, so we learned what a dirty Sanchez is, and apparently a dirty Sanchez is a fecal mustache, so don't do that. We were talking about in the pre-show about buffets and gross shit that happens at buffets. So if you missed it, it's not recorded. So if you want to catch the shit that goes on before the show, catch us in the pre-show. Pre-show is about 2 hours before this actual recording takes place at around 8 Central, 9 Eastern. I don't know what that is, UTC. So, are we having a good morning so far? Let's go over to the epoch times. This morning I woke as I was telling people in the pre-show. And I thought to myself, "Good morning, Lord Goddess." I thought, "Oh, did you think it was a drink? Let's go look it up. Let's go see. Dirty Sanchez drink.
It's definitely not a drink.
Let's go find out. Dirty Sanchez cocktail recipe. Oh, so
Apparently, it has dual meanings.
you put it in a Collins glass, and you garnish it with a lime slice. It's made with tequila and then more tequila liqueur, some black raspberry liqueur, lime juice, and some ginger beer. I want one. It's kind of cold for a dirty Sanchez. Would somebody please go make me a dirty Sanchez? I just want that to get out there. It's a drink. Thank you, Laura. Thank you for filling us in. Because let me show you what Dirty Sanchez came up with. I know that Grayman is going to have a bit of an issue with this, but let me show you what happens when you just type in Dirty Sanchez. See this guy, like right here? Here, let's go over it. Oh, now it's gone. The images are gone. Well, now I don't know what happens if I click images. What do I do? Do I click the images or not? I mean, what should I do? Because the internet is where I learn things. Oh, here we go. Here's a Dirty Sanchez growing up in Brooklyn. This guy calls himself Dirty Sanchez. Ooh, I wonder if he keeps a
40-year-old virgin is where I learned about that one, the movie.
The 40-year-old virgin. That's a movie?
Yes,
Well, I don't
you
think.
learn a lot of things in that one.
Oh my lord. Well, maybe that's something I can catch later. Last night we watched The Hellraiser from 2022. I am so tired of gender swapping main characters and race swapping main characters and stuff. The story is so weak for Hellraiser 2022. Some of y'all might not be into horror. I happen to enjoy horror. I do not enjoy thin plot lines, though. I hate thin plot lines. I was able to predict almost every freaking thing that was going to happen about 90 seconds before it happened in that film. And my husband was becoming quite irritated. And I turned to him and I said, "You're irritated by me telling the future. Imagine how irritated I am having to predict it." It's like, think about me a little bit, you freaking democratic socialist. Ugh. I don't know what happened here, but I feel a little too gay this morning. Pieces of me need to go back in the closet. All right. Comes from hanging out in bars all the time. I know, right? All those bars. What? Dirty Sanchez is a Welsh stuntman group? No. Oh, good morning, Salty Mad Jamison. Oh, yes, they remade Hellraiser. Well, they didn't really remake Hellraiser more than they added to it, and they added more lore to it. It's just, I mean, portions of it are interesting. The other parts of it, though, are just so stupid. I mean, you'd have to watch it. Watched Dune last night. Was it the original or the remake? That original one goes on and on and on and on. My favorite characters, I think, they're the Mentets. Let's see. Dune, Mentat. We'll get to the news, don't worry. Mentat. Yes. Yes, the House Mentat. I enjoyed the Mentats. They were very interesting people. I would probably never, or beings. I would probably never want to meet them in real life, considering that they just enjoy tormenting people and then talking with their hands while talking with their mouths, and they say like two different conversations. Very confusing. Laura Ingalls Wilder is married to Poindexter from Revenge of the Nerds. Oh! I'm so happy for Laura Ingalls Wilder, and I don't know who the actress was who played her, but apparently they were fairly decent people. And even Nancy, or Nellie, or whoever the hell played Nellie, she was actually a pretty decent individual, apparently pretty based. So kudos to Little House on the Prairie. All right. Melissa Gilbert. Thank you. Yeah, Melissa Gilbert. Enjoyable. Didn't like it very much when I was younger because I really didn't. I was like, oh my gosh, I've got my own farm work to do. Do I really have time to like sit around watching other people do labor? It's like I'm already laboring. Is everything in life labor? And then out came the Super Nintendo, or what is it? After the Atari, it was like what? Super Nintendo or Nintendo or like what have you. And then that is
The
when,
NES.
yes, the NES and the blowing in the cartridges. And that was when my father decided that even though I had saved up money from my bike route to go and ride my bike 7.5 miles into Wisconsin Rapids to go to ShopGo and put an NES system into my backpack, which cost, I don't know, like $199 back then, okay? I worked for 3 months on my bike route. Very, very heavy. I had like 107 subscribers who I had to deliver paper to. And two of them, I imagine, were sexual deviants because they were always trying to lure me into their house every month when I came to like collect. Because, you had to pay for your paper, and back then you actually paid the paper boy. Oh, there I was, all 230 pounds of farm boy, trying to not be enticed into the homes of at least two subscribers out there in the country. We had freaks back then. And they knew to keep their shit to themselves. And I prefer that those freaks kept keeping that shit to themselves and really weren't so open about it because it's a terror on the young ones, let me tell you. Muko, what are you supplying over here? Laura Ingalls Wilder. Oh, a whole Wikipedia entry on Laura Ingalls Wilder. Well, there you go. There you go. All right, so going on over to the Epic Times. Oh, let's see what's going on. Was there a Cali Girl? Is that why Cali Girl isn't here? Was there a freaking earthquake? Thousands reported without power after 6.4 earthquake strikes offshore California. Cali Girl, where are you? Are you in here? Oh, Cali Girl's not here. Well, Cali Girl probably got hit by an earthquake. So say a little prayer for Cali Girl. Hope that she's okay. Muko, you're so crazy. All these cat images. Oh my gosh! I remember walking home from school and some guy would drive by with his dick in his hand all the time. Well, that must have been one pretty big dick. I mean, how the hell would you see it? What was he driving? some glass-sided vehicle? What? Drive by us with... How? I mean, do you have to, like, you have to thrust your pelvis up over the freaking door where the window is? That's some crazy ass... Was he a freaking a yogi or something? What kind of freaking shape-shifting contortionist could be able to do that? That's crazy. Laura, I'm sorry to hear that. That's terrible. All right. So, thousands reported without power. And that's probably why Cali Girl isn't... Wait a minute. Okay, those guys live in Florida. I was thinking about like another set of savages. All right. Do we know anyone else in California? Who else is in California? Who goes to the BDE brigade who's from California who also shows up at this show? Is that why we're missing Cali Girl this morning? Well, we will find out later, I am sure. The earthquake which struck at 2:34 a.m. was about 10 miles deep and struck about 7.4 west southwest of Ferndale, California, a Humboldt County. Oh no, Humboldt Truth Teller. Oh no, do you guys know Humboldt Truth Teller? He probably got shook up. I hope everyone's safe. You know, the things are probably people, not everyone is safe, I imagine. The earthquake was insane, said Twitter user Jimmy Eller. Wow. So we really don't get a seismologist. We just get some Twitter user. Come on, Epic Times, don't fail me. Do not disappoint me. Who said he lived in Humboldt County. A good 15 to 20 seconds of shaking. And then the power was out, and it was all dark. And more than 64,000 homes and businesses were without power early Tuesday. That's today. In Ferndale and surrounding Humboldt County. So, send a prayer on out to Humboldt County, out there where this earthquake has hit. And yes, what the fuck is up with cats and green things like that? Is that a zucchini? Sidewalks were a bit higher than the road, but we knew what he was doing. So you guys used your imagination. That's not what the imagination's for. Don't imagine that stuff. Okay, I had to put a pervert in his place because he would stand in the doorway with just a robe on it. Whose doorway, Steady Eddie? I just said, here's your warning. What was the warning? What did you do? Muko, you're crazy. All right, CNN is covering it. What are they covering? Northern California earthquake. Okay, fine. Let's go and look on over here at CNN and see what they're saying. What? Do we not get a video? So a 6.4 according to CNN. Strong. Damage may occur. Oh, okay. So it was like you could mix a margarita to it. You could put some mixed drinks on your balcony and shake them. All right, so this really isn't a 6.4. Is it really that bad then? I mean, other than causing some fractures? You could see him stroking it, and it did look pretty big. Well, there we go. Now it's in my brain. All right, one moment, please. Now we need... Okay. With Jesus. Here, hold on. I need some. Can we have it? Okay, so I can't have a white seal with Jesus. Okay, so we're going to take this one. Alright, we're just going to focus on that for a moment. Yes. Yes, whatever Laura the Goddess just talked about. Yeah, we're going to put that out of our mind. Yes, okay, back to the Epic Times. Okay. Oh my gosh, and Laura, you just keep going. Oh, you're so cruel. Oh my lord. Oh, and then Muko with kittens. What in the hell is going on this morning? All right. So get this, the Fortnite maker. I mean, did anyone see this coming? Between Fortnite and these other Chinese games where they have like these fun animations and these fun, like, it's mainly female based, but then at the same time it's kind of dark because then you find out some of the female characters are actually dudes, and it's supposed to, I guess it's just all grooming. Anything coming out of China, just stop buying Chinese. Just anything from the Chinese Communist Party, just stop supporting that shit. Anyway, Fortnite maker Epic Games fined $520 million over claims It violated children's privacy and collected personal data. Well, what else is collecting children's personal data? Well, let's go find out. What collects a child's data? Question mark. Come on, internet. Child development. The CDC. The CDC collects children's data with or without their consent, because, you know, a child doesn't really have... Does a child have consent? I wonder. Does a child actually have any legal basis? I mean, they're supposed to be protected by law. I think that there's an erosion of law going on. Is there not an erosion of law going on right now? With the whole let children think for themselves, let children make adult decisions? Why, yes, I think I just answered my own question. There is an erosion of child protection happening where, under the guise of medicine and the CDC, allowing children to be data harvested, more or less. So, you know, screw it. So Fortnite is going out there and collecting data, and they're being fined. So quid pro quo, I would say, let's go and find the CDC and the medical institutions which are currently going out and collecting information against the parents' judgment. This is all part of Title IX, by the way. If you guys are familiar with Title IX. Are you guys familiar with Title IX? Oh, I don't know if you're familiar with Title IX. So, Title IX Education Amendments, all right? So, what conduct is prohibited in Title IX? The prohibitions. Except in provided in subpart in providing any aid, benefit, or service to a student, a recipient shall not, on the basis of sex, treat one person differently from another, provide different aid, deny any person any such aid, subject any person to separate or different rules or behavior, discriminate. It's an anti-discrimination thing, and it's based on gender and sexuality. And what Title IX is currently being bastardized into is removing parental rights from your children. So that if a teacher says, I think your child is a transgender, and then you're like, my child's not transgender, but the child says, oh yeah, I think I'm transgender. Well, guess what? Now you've just, potentially lost parental rights because you're being a bigot and a transphobe. So in order to protect the child, the state can then come in under Title IX and basically take your child away. That's where it's going. It's not quite there yet. However, we've already seen examples of it in certain states where the state will come in and gender affirm your child just because a teacher went and gaslit your child into thinking that they were something they were not. And because of these freaking stupid ass rules about not wanting to hurt a child's feelings, you can put a child under the knife. So yeah, Title IX. There we go. But yeah, let's be distracted by fucking Fortnite going and collecting a child's data. I mean, at least Fortnite's not chopping their junk off and fucking lopping their tits off and all that shit. It's like it's a video game. Just don't get your kids stupid video games like Fortnite. Have you ever seen Fortnite? Have you ever seen all the stupid dances which have come out of Fortnite? Let me show you something that just Fortnite dance. Let me just show you something here. What? Is this, what? Now it's become so big? It's become so big.
What are y'all saying?
Yeah!
Why?
And if you want to know where Chase is and why he's not participating, because he's actually playing Fortnite. Bruh.
Get a fucking life,
You want to do
child.
Fortnite dance?
Get up. What the fuck is this? Look at you. You've got fucking cankles, child. Okay, now this is a child, and I'm going in. I'm going in. This is not that I'm going in on the child as much as I'm going on the parents. What the fuck are you doing, parents? Why does this child look like they're having edema in their ankles already at whatever age this child is? Why is this child so fucking fat already? Oh my gosh. There's no definition. I can't see the bones in the ankle area. And then we have the adult come back out. I don't know this man. I'm going to presume that he's a soy boy. I don't know. But let's check out. Let's see. There goes this. What is this? All right, you know what though? You know what though? This might actually be good. This might actually be good. For this fat child, doing this stuff might actually be good. Because this will get this fat child up off the ass and actually maybe burn some calories doing these gay little dances and stuff. But this is what apparently, I mean, what in the hell? What kind of kink fetish bullshit is this that this child is trying to do?
He just, Dad.
And who is this adult? Who is this adult going and filming all this stuff, getting these kids together? I mean, what in the hell? So do these kids have friends? Do these kids have... Oh my gosh, COVID, hold on. Do these kids have friends who they actually hang out with? And this is so annoying, is that there is a time and a place to act a fool. But I have seen kids in public doing this shit, running around the grocery store, hog wild, just not understanding that they are messing shit up, touching everything. And it's not, I'm not worried about COVID. I'm worried about kids because they fucking pick their noses. They pick their noses and they cough and they get fucking shit all over their hands. And then they go and touch the pastrami. Get your hands off the fucking pastrami. It's like, if I have to make my own pastrami, I'll make my own pastrami. I don't want to go through all that though. If I just want to go and have a nice pastrami sandwich, I don't want to have to go home with a corned beef, okay? And then you have to cook it a certain way. And then you have to dehydrate it to get the pastrami. Because basically pastrami is nothing more than a seasoned corned beef. But it takes like days to make a good pastrami. I don't want you touching the motherfucking pastrami when I'm hungry right now. So, kids with these Fortnite dances having their data stolen. And then, I don't know, soy men, like whoever the fuck this, and what's this? Going out and, how many views did this shit get? 9.67 million subscribers. How many views? Where are the views? I don't even know. How do you look at this? 34 million views from 4 years ago. What's TMI? Did you know female hyena have a penis that they give birth out? Toad load, don't tempt me. Are you serious? Bugs Bunny, especially. Yes, a lot of these are just rehashed dances. They're not even original. And it's just weird that it was so promoted and then to turn around then and to go and say, oh, we're going to sue because children's privacy was collected, their data was collected. It's like, well, if you parents were parenting and actually reading what the fuck your children are getting up to, then your children would not have their data being harvested. But no, apparently the TV has gone from being the babysitter to the freaking parent now altogether. It's just, ugh. My parents would kick my ass if I sat in front of the television longer than like half an hour. My dad would come in with the belt and he'd be like, get the fuck up, get outside, go do some work, go out and play, what have you, go shovel some shit. It's like my parents weren't playing. I just don't understand. Why would you give your child a freaking handheld device and then put their minds into this stupid, just, oh, it's such a waste. What a life wasted. I mean, maybe I'm being cynical. It's just not my thing. It's just not my thing. All right, so now I'm curious, Toadload. I'm really curious. Get called mean dad by stupid lefty moms all the time. Well, fuck them. I mean, oh my god. Yeah, I don't even own a TV anymore. Ugh, good lord. All right, well now, did you know female hyena have a penis they give birth? Damn it, Toadload. Damn it. Damn it. Oh, I'm angry that that you even put this in my mind. I'm so pissed. Why do female spotted hyenas have a penis? Oh my god. No. Spotted hyena females have a pseudopenis or penile clitoris. This makes it nearly impossible to differentiate between the sexes. It's even well, that's why they're laughing all the time. I'd laugh too if I had a freaking big ass clitoris that I could just like whip out and just like rub on anything. I'd probably be in seventh heaven. I'd probably be very happy. And then you can go, apparently they lick them. Okay. Well, I guess if their clitorati like work like any other clitorati, it probably. Thank you for sharing. Okay, now I'm ruined. I'm wrecked. Show's over. It's the end. You have ruined my Tuesday, and stolen a portion of my elderly age. I mean, I can't say childhood. What the fuck is it when you're like my adulthood? You've ruined my golden years of my adulthood with your sick information. Toadload. You terrible, terrible, terrible person. Enough internet for the day? Yes. I've had quite enough of this. Target I will not go to anymore. Okay, well, whatever. Did you guys see that KGP, Karine Jean-Pierre, this morning was talking about removing Title 42 or whatever. And the courts have paused it. Look at that. Supreme Court pauses the expiration of Title 42. Now remember, KJP this morning was like, we follow law. It's a court order. So we're going to follow the court order because we follow the law. What do you bet, potatoes to, I don't know, beets, that bitch is going to come out later and be like, oh, the Supreme Court is acting completely in an incorrect manner, or there's going to be some sort of social media explosion that the Supreme Court is racist or something for upholding the Title 42 aspects. Well, let's see. The U.S. Supreme Court has agreed to pause the expiration of Title 42 after 19 states filed an emergency application for a stay. That means 19 states. It's not just the Supreme Court. There were 19 states who filed an injunction or something. Anyway, Chief Justice Roberts has temporarily stayed a lower court's decision that would lift Title 42 on Wednesday. It was a lower court. Those sneaky snakes, that fucking Biden administration. Oh my gosh. Is that what KGP was talking about this morning and yesterday? She was talking about it's a court order. So they went and they have these like paid off shills in these lower courts where they go and get these. It's like getting married in Las Vegas. Does it really mean anything? I don't know. I've never been married in Las Vegas. But I wouldn't give much credence to when you've had, I don't know, several hurricanes and you've like already thrown up once at the Bellagio, and the next thing you know, you're in a taxi going to the chapel to get married to some, I don't know, prostitute or something like that. It just kind of seems like maybe this current administration might be that puke in the Bellagio. I'm just saying. Anyway, going to a lower court to have this thing lifted, and then to have the Supreme Court go, no, that's not happening. Yes, there's gonna be some backlash from these people. I guarantee it. And talk of Constitution, what is going on? Well, now I'm curious about what Laura's saying. I stopped Target the minute they wouldn't do anything about predators in the bathrooms. Yes! Twin Cities has that problem too. Lots of predators in the bathroom. You can't go into a bathroom in the Twin Cities. Now, this is when I used to go into male bathrooms, and then, like, I didn't have the problem in female bathrooms, but I stopped going to female bathrooms because I realized that it was very predator-like to be, I mean, it's like, okay, I get that I'm permitted to do it, but should I do it? No, the answer is no. So I would go back into men's bathrooms, okay? You cannot go into a men's bathroom in the Twin Cities without someone's kneecaps coming in from under the stall, and then their thighs are exposed, and then there's a dick. Right there. Freaking under the stall action in the Twin Cities. It's ridiculous. There are so many toes tapping. If you see a toe tapping next to you, if you're in a stall, and if you see a toe tapping, do not tap your toe back. Do not try to follow the rhythm. Do not try to make a beat, because the next thing you know, you're going to have someone's kneecap sliding off underneath that stall, and you're going to get a surprise that you probably weren't expecting. Okay, I'm just saying. Do not toe tap.
Ooh.
What?
Kevin, what is that thing about the? I shake some people's hands around here, and some of them will hold their middle finger out while they put it in the center of your palm.
Are you talking about
Like, what
this
is
one
that
and then
about?
they tickle your palm?
Yeah,
That's the gay handshake.
yeah. I was like, what the fuck? Why are people doing that to me all the time?
You're being hit on. You're being hit on.
Ugh.
If
That
a
means I want to fuck you.
Cali girl,
Good morning.
how was the earthquake?
Oh, I didn't feel an earthquake.
Oh, good lord. We were
Oh my
okay.
God,
Well,
where was there? There was an earthquake?
yes.
Oh, I'll have to look that up. I just woke up.
Oh,
Good
okay.
morning, everybody. 5 shopping days. Anyways, yeah.
Yeah, the gay
Hi.
handshake. Like whenever a man goes and takes her hand to shake it, and then if that finger goes and does the little squishy swishy in your palm, yeah, that
I
shit would.
didn't know it was a gay handshake. I just thought it was I want to fuck you handshake.
Well, that is the I want to fuck you. It's the I'm interested in you kind of thing. Hey, let's go hook
Yeah.
up.
Well,
That
I didn't
shit.
know that it was gay dudes fucking doing it to me. I didn't know.
Oh my
I
gosh,
had
they
heard this
did it to
boyfriend was
you?
gay. How did I know? I didn't know.
Well, maybe it's not. Maybe it's just the come fuck me handshake. It
Yeah,
happened a
I think
lot.
but it might have changed. It might have changed into the gays took it, and it was just like because normal people, I mean, normal
Well,
people.
well, what don't the gays take? Drugs, dick up the ass, all that stuff. It's like, yeah, real funny coming from me and stuff like that. But after Will and Grace ruined it for me. I might as well just be a heterosexual now. I might as well as just be straight because I'm so disgusted by what gay has become. Gay used to be classy. Gay used to be refined and educated. And now gay is nothing more than a fucking sexuality. Gay used to be like gorgeous and like you really worked and applied yourself and you everything you had in life you fucking worked for. And if you
That was
didn't,
in the 80s gay in the United States.
even before that, I mean, like, you had to be crafty. You had to be very,
Yeah.
very resourceful. I mean, like, people wanted to drag you behind their trucks. I mean, come on. You had to be very slick and educated and sly and everything like that.
Kevin, I still see gay like that. I know that the new generations are exploiting it, but that is why I am actually very gay friendly because that's the way that I see it. Is that
Yes.
how you exactly how you are?
Well, I will say this. It's one thing. It's there's a certain amount of scripture which goes along with this. I am never going to promote that any of you ever walk with me on my journey. That's one thing I'm definitely not going to do. There's a thing called a reprobate mind. Are you guys familiar with the reprobate mind? There's something I would ask that you guys, if this is a weird, it's a weird ask, but for your own spiritual and soul, make sure that you are not going against your beliefs when you are working with the gays, and especially today's gays. They are. Do not get lost. Do not get lost in the weeds of this stuff. Stay on your path. If you're on a path of righteousness, please stay on your path. Do not fall off of it unless it's part of your test. I think I've been tested. I'm still not living completely in the light, but I'm trying to find my way back. And I think I'm on the right path. I think I'm on the right path. But I will say this, because I feel moved to say it. Do not walk with a sinner or take on the mannerisms of people who sin if you are trying to save your soul and if you're truly repentant. If that makes any sense.
Amen.
If that makes
It
any
makes
sense
it
to
makes
you.
perfect sense. That's why I don't do social work anymore because I can't abide by the morals and standards that are being set forth in this agenda. And I told somebody that's been trying to recruit me, a company that keeps trying to recruit me, and I'm like, you don't want me. You don't want me. Because
Mm.
I'm not going to come in and follow your guys' rules.
See, I can't do that with the VA Medical Center anymore. It's like I have been talking to them about how woke they become and how political they become. And now with this whole trans surgery center and everything, I'm like, whoa. It's like, if that's what you stand for, I don't want my medicine from you anymore. I don't want to get my treatment from you anymore. I go find someplace else. So I've been going back and forth with my patient advocate. And finally, it has come down to where it's like, well, you're not going to get any medicines from us unless you abide by our rules. I was like, okay, fine. I won't get any care, nor
Whoa.
will I get any medicine from you. Does that affect my VA benefits? And they're like, no, you can go wherever you want for your medical and it won't affect your VA benefits. I'm like, okay, bye.
Wow.
It's like, see ya. It's like, I don't
So,
want to, I do not want to be, until we get like someone who is a little bit more, not a little bit, fuck, what am I saying? Until I get like until we get a God fearing administration back into our country, I don't want to go to that fucking place. I don't want to go to any of these like VA medical centers or any of these state run facilities. And my husband is like, well, you're not going to find a private doctor. I'm like, don't tempt me. It's like, tell me what I can't do. Tell me what I can't achieve. Please, by all means, Mr. Institutional Living, tell me what I can't achieve in my lifetime. Because I have surprised you before, and I will surprise you again. It's like, challenge me,
The
challenge
VA is
accepted.
very
What's
the
up?
VA is very adamant on rejecting my disability claims, even though I have like so many doctors from the VA. They're like, yes, 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 he has that, right? It's completely 100% military related, and the VA is like always rejects everything for the disability.
Yeah, it's a hard fight. It's you fight so hard to get like what you got that they go and tell you. It's like, if you get injured, don't worry, we'll take care of you. And you come to find out
No,
it's like, no, you get injured in service to your country and they make you go through years and years of hoops and bullshit. And it's awful. Unless, you know what you could do, I'm not going to say it. I was like, just claim you're trans and they probably push your paperwork right through. They'd be like, "Oh, you're a trans? Oh, you're transgender? Oh, definitely." Fucking, you know what? If the VAMC and the people, I'm looking forward to Nuremberg. I really am. I'm looking forward to Nuremberg. If the divine seal of the firmament opened and nuked these places, I would not shed a tear. They have turned into temples of the devil. If they weren't before, they definitely are now. They're
well,
definitely.
I'll go through online and I'll watch some videos of people like submitting like the VA paperwork, and the social justice warriors are like, "Oh yeah, the VA provided me somebody and did all the paperwork, and you know, 100%. There you go, right away."
Well,
And I'm like, "You're fine. There's nothing wrong with you at all." Oh, you're just social justice warrior. So, bam, instant.
if I remember correctly, I needed the assistance of the VFW. I was assigned somebody outside of the VA medical center, and I believe it's through the through the VFW, where you can find an actual outside advocate who knows how to maneuver within the system to get you to where you want to be with your benefits. Because yeah, people in the
Oh,
VA.
not in my area. I got kicked out of the place.
Oh no.
Oh, yeah.
Oh shit. My father's part of that stuff because he's a Vietnam veteran, and then he to this day, I think he's like a commander at one of those chapters. I'd have to ask him. Anyway, well, good luck in your venture, because it is definitely a hard road to get what you are told when you go to serve your country, that they promise you, and then you come when it finally comes that you need it. They're like, oh yeah, no, hoops, lots and lots of hoops.
Well, thanks to all the veterans for your service, and I am sorry our country is treating you this way under this administration and all the previous administrations that were messed up, except for the last administration who was trying to make things better. Speaking of
Yes.
making things better,
What's up?
before I fell asleep last night, I came across a video. Hadley Freeman speaks to Emma Barnett about leaving The Guardian. And I don't know any of these people and I don't read The Guardian, but I listened to this video and it was about how she was being censored um, as a journalist, and that this was a new phenomenon that she had recognized as it was starting to happen. So she's talking about her journey as a journalist at a Guardian and what she wanted to write about. And she was denied the ability to write what she wanted to write about. And she eventually, I believe, quit. But the thing about this video was the verbiage that was being used that I had never heard about feminist, and how there is a counter feminist group that is against the gender affirming stuff. Now, we don't hear about these groups because they're being censored, obviously. So that was hopeful for me. I put the link in the Jitsi. I don't know if you want to provide that over on the Odysee. I think it's a good video for people to watch because the counter narrative to what we're talking about.
Now, 6 weeks ago.
Yeah.
It's a 20-minute video. It's in Women's Hour. I don't know. This is the first time I've been exposed to this group. So this is the very first video like I said, I watched it right before I was falling asleep. So I don't have all the I don't have all the information like just at my tongue right now in my brain. But I did find it to be very hopeful and very it's good. It's good that we're hearing these words from women, and that we're learning that there is a feminist nonconformist group. I forgot what they actually called us.
Do they call them TERFs?
I don't know. There's a lot of different language in there that I had not been. See, that's the thing too that I'm noticing. There's a lot of new language coming out in academia and scholastic. I haven't read a book in a while. I hate to admit it. I'm ashamed. Being dyslexic, I really enjoy reading comments. Because they're short and they're easier to understand, and it's individuals' words. So I take that at great value. And so this journalist, her words, I took at great value as a promise that we're not in this alone.
Oh, you're definitely not in this alone. There are, they are vilified though. If you are a biological woman, and it doesn't matter if you're a feminist or not, and you're against the whole transgender thing that's like going on, oh my lord, you're villainized, you're demonized so badly. And if you identify as a feminist, well, then you're a TERF. You're a trans exclusionary radical feminist. As
Well,
if that's
that's what I am. So
as
I'm
if
a
that's
turf.
a bad thing.
Whatever.
Now that
I'm
go
always
on.
the bad thing.
Well, now that I've gone through the fucking process of, the trans experience and stuff like that, man, I did not exactly have a bad time. Okay? To be quite frank, I did not have a terrible time. The side effects were not very cool. And the other parts that were not very cool were the social aspects of it, like being like told, yes, go into female spaces, even though you're clearly surgically female altered and you're also pretty damn male looking. It's like, but yes, go into these female spaces and become nude and make a bunch of real women uncomfortable, but don't let it bother you. Don't let it bother you because it's their problem. It's not your problem, it's their problem. That kind of like fucking shit. Aside from that, life was still pretty good. Aside from the side of like the negative side effects and being told it's okay to be a predator, The rest of it was, okay. The thing is, like, the rest of it can't be okay if you're being told that to go be a predator. Do you follow my drift? Is that making any sense? That I was
Yeah,
able to separate.
totally.
And when I'm talking to my therapist, and I'm like, how can I feel empowered when the women who were subjected to my presence felt powerless? It's like, how the fuck how do you justify this? How? And they will do it. They will go and say, well, it's not your problem, it's their problem. Wow.
Well, that's the patriarch talking. That is patriarchy right there in a
I
nutshell.
don't
It's not
know.
any individual. It's not any individual. It's these paradigms. I guess they're paradigms, and we're in a paradigm shift where they're trying to, make it normal for men to be women. And I mean, as far as I've been alive, as long as I've been alive, there's always been this agenda to eliminate women. We don't need women to make babies because we can make them in an incubator,
Oh,
which I don't
Lord.
think they can't do that yet. But that's the big.
I know they're working on
That's
it.
the Yeah, that's the big. I don't know if you've seen the video with that they can make 30,000 babies in their whatever
Yeah, it's a
laboratory.
yeah, it's a concept video. I've seen it.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
I
yeah.
want to address Laura Goddess here. It's like, so trans folks are being told to oppress us women? What the fuck? Yes. As a matter of fact, yes. But it's not called oppression. It's called, they'll get used to it. You'll get used to it. Don't worry, biological women. Don't worry, biological females. Don't worry, biological little girl. You'll get used to it. You'll get used to our presence in your spaces. Not oppressing you at all. Absolutely not. Oppression's a bad word. That's a hateful word. No, what we're helping you to do is understand. You see how that works?
Understand that you are not a woman. You are nothing. You are chattel. You are. I mean, if they can, if they
If you would
can
just
reduce it,
open your mind and stop being so narrow, then you would understand. It's for your own good.
yeah, because we'll no longer have to have babies, and then the female babies. I mean, if you're so miserable being a woman and you're so oppressed as being a woman, then we don't need you anymore. Is what they're actually saying.
They also like put this stuff in. It's like culturally, this stuff is it's relegated to specific cultures. Like, we've already seen what happens in the Chinese Communist Party. Females, born or not born, female
Yes,
child in utero, abort.
yes.
Female child born, ah, how dare you have a female child. Leave that female baby to starve. Dash that baby's head on the rocks.
And if the people don't believe that that's still happening,
Not
that is
so.
happening. It's
That's
been
what
happening.
floors me about people who support the Chinese Communist Party. They don't seem to understand that in my lifetime, that was normal. The one
It's
child policy.
it's normal, and the Indian doctors were the ones that figured that they could find out what the gender of the baby was in the 12th week so that it could be aborted,
Oh,
because there's this period in utero where the testosterone floods the fetus and
yes.
changes it from female, because we all start off female,
Right.
and that 12th week is when, because they can't tell before that if it's going to be a male or a female. They
Yes, and then the
can't tell. So
hormones
when
flood
that
in and
testosterone in about the 12th week floods that fetus, that's when the penis begins to grow, and they can tell, is it going to be a male or female? And let me just also say, big
yes.
clit, big clit, you're still a woman. Small dick, you're still a man.
Not to detract from the conversation we're having, but were you here for the hyena clitoris female
I
penis?
yeah, I just barely came on right then. Yeah,
Well, that
yeah.
is
I
a
mean,
poor
that's why I
choice of
said it.
words.
No, that's why I said it. Just because you have a big clit doesn't mean that you have a penis. That's not a penis. A clitoris works differently than a penis.
Yeah, it does. I'll guarantee you
It's
that.
just a little bit different. Trust me, because I have a clitoris and I've touched plenty of penises and I can tell the fucking difference.
And I will tell you this: my clitoris is man-made and it doesn't work. So,
And you know what? That's not a laughing matter. It makes me want to cry for all the people that have been transitioned into thinking that they were going to have a working female vagina, because a vagina is a very beautiful thing and it does very beautiful things and it can bring you immense pleasure. That's why I cannot stand the FGMs, female genital
oh,
mutilization
right?
people. You know, and that's part of religious cult. It's not the religion, period. It's the cult, because there's a lot of cults that function under the three major religions.
Well, before you go into that, let me just like say, good morning, Johnny Engineer. And if Dylan died on the table, I wouldn't shed a tear. Continue, please, while I go stoke the wood in the fireplace.
Yeah, I mean, I that whole psyop is just really disgusting, because I don't even know if he's being operated on or not. But we're being led to believe that he is.
Right.
And let's see what happens. Let's see how he comes out, because I'm sure he's going to be on the video today or tomorrow with his IVs in his arms. Let's see if he looks like he's a person that just came out of surgery or not.
Could you
Um,
imagine? Could you imagine? I mean, like, what kind of attention whore do you have to be to come out of surgery and then immediately get back on the gram? I mean, like, what kind of fucked up in the head do you have to be to do that? Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'm sorry to everybody that feels that they have been um, victimized as children. I'm sorry for all the children that are victimized, that tell and don't get heard. This season right now will be the season of sorrows, obviously, for me, and I'm going to be praying for everybody. Um, yeah, it just goes back to good and evil, and making somebody believe that they're something they're not, making somebody believe that they're a cat when they're a dog is not right.
No, it's not. It
It's
absolutely is
not
not.
okay, because biblically we know that cats can only breed with cats and dogs can only breed with dogs. And I don't know what that has to do with any of this, but that's where my heart took me, because I guess because I go back to Noah's Ark, and um, God flooded the world because of this kind of stuff that's going on now. And a lot of people would not take the walks that they're walking if there were not people in authority that were telling them that they're brave and that they're, affirming them.
Right. That
If you don't get affirmed because we're born, and we hear when we're in the uterus, we hear obviously languages and stuff. And that was the other thing about, making children that are in a incubator without the mother's heartbeat and everything. Oh, well, we're gonna pipe in the music and we're gonna let them hear your voice and you can say whatever you want. You know what woman is gonna take, our men are gonna take 24/7 out of their day to provide a rhythm to a baby that's being made in a box? Nobody. We are with our mother from the moment of conception. So we're getting everything she eats, every stimuli that goes to the mother is going to the baby. That's not going to be the same with these babies that are. They'll find out. They'll find
no,
out
they'll
soon
be
enough. If they haven't found
detached.
out already.
They'll be detached.
Yeah, they've already done this with the test tube babies. Now, I'm not saying anything bad about test tube babies, because they get put in the mother's uterus pretty quickly, or in somebody's uterus. Um, but psychologically, if you know that you were not conceived in a certain way, that's going to affect you, because you're now different than what we're told is normal, quote unquote, with air hooks so, and I know I see a lot of people laughing, and I laugh too because that's uncomfortableness. Like I'm watching Shapeshifter, and she has her laugh, and it's not because she thinks it's funny. It's because it's so absurd to uh, to some of us that we're even having these discussions. But in other countries, children are not considered protected. You know, this is
No, they're not.
the things that we're talking about are not exclusively American, but you know, they came to settle this country for a reason because these other things were being done in other countries, and quite frankly, the Jewish American people didn't want that. Supposedly, the whatever you know, the Christian American people didn't want that. We don't want this. We don't want this. We don't want this for our people. I don't want this for Kevin. I don't want this for Shapeshifter. I don't want this for anybody. I don't want anybody's genitals to be mutilated.
Well, it's more than just genitals, like we were talking about in the beginning, which like took us down this path. Is that they're trying to erase biological female, the very essence of what it is to be female. They're trying to make it into some sort of a. They're trying to monetize. It's like they're looking at women as objects. They are thoroughly objectifying women at this point.
Yeah.
It's like,
And you know what? When you said that, it reminded me of the girl, I can't remember, who sold her virginity on the internet. She was one of the first ones, and she was going to sell it to the highest bidder.
could you
I
imagine?
don't know. That was, I don't know how many years ago that was. It had to be, God, it seems like 15, but it's probably only about 10. So we've gone from that to this, but you know, women are being sold right now, today, every day, all day long. Men are also. Boys
Yes.
are definitely. Unfortunately for the boys, I think that they just want to use them and then have them die. The little ones that they're using, you know,
Mm-hmm.
they may be wanting to keep the girls a little bit alive a little bit longer. Um, and I'm not sure if that's true or not, but they don't, you know, obviously if you're fucking a baby, you obviously do not have any
We have no moral
moral
compass.
standards or
That's for
ethics,
damn sure. And oh my
and you don't
lord.
care what you're killing. You don't care what you're killing.
Oh.
You don't care. You're soulless.
Oh, I think they do care. I think that's what they get off on. Oh, that's a
Oh well,
dark, dark,
yes.
dark area, Callie. That's such a dark area, and it is a monstrous, it is a monstrous reality which we do have in our midst.
And
Is
it's not just all about sexual gratification. It's about control. It's about dominance and control. I have so much money, I can fuck this baby to death.
I don't understand. I will never understand, nor do I want to understand the mindset of a person like that. I do know this. If I am trying to control something, I want whatever I am controlling to understand that I am controlling because otherwise it's kind of pointless. I think that these people are just fucking monstrous. If it's a power dynamic, if it's a control dynamic, I think that these people are fucked in. I mean, ugh.
They
Okay, I
are.
was just gonna say, I think that they're fucked in the head based on that
Yes.
fucking a. Thinking about like what they're doing to get to that level is already like no, they're really fucked in the head. No, there is a special place that these people need to be, and they're called institutionalized in sanitariums. I mean,
Yes.
what the
Well,
fuck?
there's a biological and a chemical reaction, obviously, to everything that we do. You
Yes,
know, as normal people, we find satisfaction in, you know, as a woman, I find satisfaction in making a nice pie, a cute pie, a cute pie. You know,
yes.
that makes me happy. That gives me, I've dominated and controlled my environment, and I got this pie, and it's going to taste good. That gives me satisfaction. So some people don't satiate that way. They don't get satisfied
Unless they're
by
doing
wrapping.
something god awful.
Yes, by wrapping a Christmas present doesn't satisfy them. Or they've been told now that, well, you can't have a Christmas tree because you're a Christian, and what does Christmas trees have to do with Christianity? And then I'm going to refer back to Pastor Chatelet. Don't take Christian liberties with me,
Mm-hmm.
you know, because the way I express my Christianity may not be the way that you express yours, but in the ultimate end, we both believe that Jesus died at Calvary for our sins. And we're never going to be Jesus, and we're never going to be sinless. I'm never going to be sinless. I'm sorry. I can walk around all day long as pious as I could try. I can never leave my house, and I'm still going to have a sin. I'm still going to hate something.
Well,
That's a
that's just
sin.
it, though. You can't repent unless you have something to repent for. And I think that's the point of repenting. It's like, of
Well,
course you can't be sinless, otherwise we wouldn't have repentance.
and also, I don't believe that I have to continuously repent for hating something. God knows. God knew me. God knew I was going to hate this agenda. He knew it. He knew I was going to. And trust me, I've loved gay men. I have loved bi men as partners, that someone I would wanted to have grandchildren with. I didn't know at the very moment that he was gay when we were first together, but even after I found out, I still saw my grandchildren in his eyes. But he didn't see his grandchildren in my eyes. So it could not ever work. And that's okay. That's okay. That's
Yeah.
okay. That's what this agenda has given me. So I'm not going to like it. And I'm not, I will never hate a person because they're gay. I will never hate a person because they were tricked or because they chose to do something to their body because they altered their body, whether they're female or male. Because I had girlfriends that altered their bodies, and it wasn't in extreme ways, but I still didn't believe in that. I said, don't mutilate your body. And she didn't see it as a mutilization. She saw it as enhancing her body.
Well, those things, oh my gosh, it's just, they're elective. It's called elective for a reason because you're electing to doing it to yourself. I've just got something to say. Experience is a bitch of a teacher, and if I knew then what I know now, I would have never gone down this path.
You wouldn't have elected it if you had all the information. And so that's why I
That's
don't,
just it. But they didn't give us all. They don't give us all the
they
fucking
didn't give it to
information.
you. And then they try to act like we don't have it.
They try to act like, okay, now I don't
We
know if you've
didn't
been like
know.
following up. They do this. It's like, well, you're the one who made the choice. It was your decision to do this. And it's like, without considering, well, there was a surgeon involved, there was another surgeon involved, there were like 5 different psychotherapists involved, there was you. It's like it wasn't just the patient. It's like I didn't perform the surgery on myself. I didn't do the paperwork for myself. It's like there was a whole team, and it's amazing how they can be like, well, you were informed, and it's like, well, I didn't know about this, this, and this, and then to like actually catch a therapist in a video going and saying, well, we don't know too much about these things. It's
Yeah.
like that's why I fucking record my medical sessions, because
Yeah.
it's
Well,
like,
they wipe their hands of it. We
yeah, they
didn't
wipe
know.
their hands of it after committing a crime, after fucking mutilating people, and then
Mm-hmm.
it's fucked all the way around. They victimize the patient and then tell the patient to go and victimize women and go get up in women's spaces, and the patients might be a little bit pissed off because they just got fucking wrecked by the surgeon. So why not? Why not take that rage out on what you tried to become? It's a very fucked up psychological labyrinth they've got going on here. And there's got to be someone at the very top getting a top down view on this, who just gets off on this, who just jacks off all over the medical industry
Oh, yeah.
and just is
Yeah.
like, look what I did. Ha ha
They
ha.
love it. It's their satisfaction. There's also another feminist woman that I came across the other day. Her name's Posey. I don't know what her last.
Posey
She goes,
Parker.
thank you. You know her.
I
Okay.
do.
Good. Okay. Good. So it's like I'm like, why haven't I been seeing these people? And it's probably because I don't go on Facebook and I don't go on Twitter, and I know Susan censors what I see. So
Susan.
Susan. She's not a very good teacher.
It's terrible.
She's not letting me. She's not letting me see these things until after the fact. But I'm starting to see them now.
Go on.
So the feminists are out there, or whatever they call us, the TERFs.
Trans exclusionary radical feminist, yes.
Yeah, we're out here. So the counter narrative is out here. We just have to write our books, and the ones that are brave enough are can get out in front. I'm not brave enough. I'm only brave enough to be here amongst you guys. Um, and I thought about that. You know, why do I feel safe? Because some of you have been in the military, and uh, I know your hearts. I feel like I know your hearts in some ways. Um, but what were those? The 17 steps to friendship, or something? You said I have something like 17 steps to
Me,
friendship. So
I
for
start with
me,
acquaintance.
yeah,
Are you talking about me personally?
yeah. You
Yeah,
said you
there are
have a
like 17 steps to friendship, and it starts with being an acquaintance. It's like
yeah, and so
you're not
we're
my
just all
friend right off the bat.
acquaintances.
It's like you're an acquaintance,
Yeah.
and then there are different levels of acquaintanceship, and then it
Hmm.
moves up into like the buddy levels, and then after that, it's like to become a friend. You had better had shared at least several stories where you broke down in tears, and that we consoled each other, or I broke down in tears and we consoled each other. We've better had like about 4 fights. There had better been 4 fights we fucking reconciled. Okay? I better know
Hmm.
your parents and you better know my parents, okay? You better know my family, I better know your family. All right? When you do all these things, then you're a friend.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Those are healthy steps, and
yeah.
I feel like okay. So I'm very fortunate. I grew up in a community that I was in for a very very long time, and um, I guess we would be considered an upper white middle class community where people didn't move.
An upper white? Go on, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
That just
I
struck my
know.
medulla oblongata and I was like, upper white.
Where people didn't move, where people lived for 20, 30, 40
An
years,
established white community.
Yeah,
Go on.
that's where I grew up. I was always, like I said, I always had to defend my whiteness though, because I'm darker than a paper bag.
Well, you're
And
just so fucking unwhite.
I am.
You're colored. Go on.
I know, I am.
Go
And my
on.
name. My name also is so unwhite. My name is very unwhite.
Right. Go
Um,
on, sorry.
but there was other kids in the neighborhood. There was half Indian. A lot of it. There was a lot of halfies. Half breeds of different nationalities. And then there was a few. There was we had a Japanese girl, a couple. We didn't have no Chinese. There was two Japanese girls in our class, and then everybody else was just white. But what I'm saying here is that we knew each other, like you're saying. We knew each other's grandmothers. We went to each other's grandparents' functions, and uh, we would go to church with different. I would go to church with different people. I didn't belong to one church. My family wasn't going to church. Um, But we knew each other. We knew each other, and some of those people still live there. I was one of the last few to actually get out, to move. Um, but we knew each other, like you knew each other. If something went down, like they were friends, like you could, they were your friends, and some of them still are my friends. But friendship is important, and to know who your friends are and where they came from and that's important. That's very important because when you have real friends, they're going to check your ass.
Oh, yes.
And
Repetitively.
so, this internet has isolated us into places where there's 10 or 20 of us. Some of us know what state each other's in. Some of us know how old each other are, but we don't know each other's families. Um, and where I live now, I know a few people, and I'm starting to know some other families, and so you can build that um, in California, but it's very difficult here. It's very difficult, and with the economy being the way it is, to stay somewhere for 20 or 30 years when they're going to upset housing like they are right now, with this big recession, people will lose their houses and they'll be displaced, and they will either have no credit because they're going to default on their home loan, or they're going to be able to sell and move to somewhere cheaper.
Well,
But they won't be building those relationships.
what they're trying to do is they're trying to move people into the urban centers while while running people out of the rural settings, like rural and suburban. That is definitely being attacked. And they're trying to get people to move into these things called 15-minute cities. Are you familiar with 15-minute cities?
I have seen some stuff on that, yeah, and some of them they're like rebuilding malls into apartment complexes.
It's just disgusting. It's like everything is going to be so ultra processed food. This whole, oh my gosh, I don't want to live like that. I don't want to rent. I don't want to rent everything in my life. I mean, my gosh, the White House just recently came out and said that they rented all those dishes for that fucking
What?
Frenchie who like came over. Yeah, they rented all the flatware and all the plates.
Seems like the White House already would have some of that
You
stuff,
think they
but
would have fine china at the White House? No, apparently they needed to rent it for fucking Macron and then go and have that very lavish dinner while like other people in the United States are going without. And this administration just flaunts all this luxury in people's faces. And it's their money paying for it. It's the very people who are being disadvantaged, disenfranchised, oppressed a little bit, if I must say, who are paying for all this shit. And this administration is it that they're willfully clueless? Are they
yeah,
so out of touch? Or are they just that wicked that they would go and do that to people and then on top of it throw a bunch of stressors on top of everything else? It's like, oh, and by the way, you're a filthy pleb, so go out and get your shot that'll like stop you from dying, even though we told you that from the beginning and none of this has worked. In fact, there have been a hell of a lot more side effects than there's been any positive. But it's like, for like my husband and stuff like that, it's like I look at him this morning, I thought he was dead. And I was like, I'm just used to it now. I'm just used to waking up thinking that my husband might be dead. That's where I am now. I'm just like, oh, he might be dead. Oh, well, what a wonderful opportunity for me to move on with my life and other things. I love my husband. I love him very, very much. It's just that at a certain point, people make so many stupid decisions, and you're like, whatever. It's like at
yeah.
a
How
certain
long did you
point,
stay on the boat?
yeah, it's like, okay, it's like, I'm gonna love you, and then, like, when you die, I'm gonna do exactly what you wanted me to do with you. I'm gonna put you in a tube, liquefy you, and shoot you out over some fucking field somewhere. It's like, I'm so done. I'm moving to a red state. I'm getting the fuck out of here. I'm changing my name back to Kevin legally. It's like, I've got a plan. I've got this, like, exit plan from fucking Minnesota and this fucking blue state bullshit.
There you go.
It's
Hey,
like,
so I want to go back to renting
I'm sorry, go
everything.
on, yes.
No, 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 because you said I don't want to rent everything, and I
No, I
totally
don't want to rent
it, it,
everything.
it flashed me to yesterday. They actually played this movie, In Time. I don't know if you guys know it. INTIME. I don't know if you've seen the movie or not, but I
Oh,
recommend.
I've seen that movie. Yes.
Yeah, with Justin Timberlake. I recommend that movie. I'd seen it before, and it's not really that good of a movie that you would want to sit there and watch it again. But
Yeah.
it's the message in the movie and how they get to where they're, or I didn't see the whole movie. It was just on, and I was like, oh
Well, it
shit.
does have a lot of social justice agendas in it.
Yeah, but it also is. Have you seen it, Kevin?
Don't think I've seen In Time, and if it has social justice agendas in it, I probably bitched through the whole entire movie, and Bruce was probably like sitting there like, "Can't we just watch the movie?" And I probably would be like, "I'm gonna get high as fuck and continue bitching." But anyway, continue. Sorry,
Okay,
I don't think
yeah.
I've seen it. I
So
don't think I've seen it.
the premise of the movie is once you hit 25, your clock goes on. You have this clock on in your arm.
Oh, that digital thing.
Yeah,
Yes,
and
I saw
and
that, and I was high as fuck. I was taking edibles, and we were and I was like, he just killed his mama. is like, yes, I remember. Yes, because
Well, no, he didn't kill his mom. Her time ran
well, her
out.
time ran out, but he was fucking off, and I remember like turning to the producer and going,
Yeah.
"Why is he
No,
fucking off? His mama's
she
gonna
gave
die."
him
He
What?
gave him.
she
Listen,
yeah.
Iceburne's gonna tell.
Wait a minute.
Oh,
Are we giving
she
out?
gave him part of her time at the beginning of the show, and it
Well,
was like literally just so he can like get lunch or something.
that
And
is
he didn't get
so
back in time.
right,
Yeah.
right. And then
But they never aged. After 25, they never aged. They just stayed that whatever they looked like at that point. But I just found it interesting. His whole thing was he was going to steal all the time. He kidnapped the girl, and he was going to give time to everybody, and how that was going to fuck up the um, economic system.
well,
Anyways,
yeah.
I just seen it. It was on yesterday. I caught it in the middle of the movie, and I was like, oh, let me see this again, because I really thought it was telling us how you don't want somebody else in control of your
No.
economic uh, abilities on how much they're going to charge you for rent, whatever. And what a lot of renters don't understand is that, yes, you're paying taxes, you're paying all these little extra things, and it might cost a little bit more for that house. But in 20 or 30 or 50 years, your house should be worth more than what it was. So that will give you some more power in the future. But also, you don't have, when you rent from somebody where your landlord has your key and your landlord can come onto his property at any time he wants.
Yes.
So you
They
are
have to give you a 24-hour notice.
24-hour notice. I'm thinking about some other properties that they put disabled people in and other things like that. Yeah, 24-hour notice. I think that's the law.
But I'm not
But
just talking about properties as in dwellings. I'm talking about like, okay, you need to rent your
everything.
coffee maker, you need to rent your dishes, you need to rent your what? Do you have to rent your clothes too? It's like
Well,
I
you have rent, and then there's the another one that's the vending machine economy. Everything. I mean, I lived in Japan for a long time. It's like your entire life is out of a vending machine.
well, that sounds green. That sounds environmentally friendly. That just sounds like a lot of waste.
Yeah, it is. And then that's what I always noticed about like the food delivery places. Like you can pay twice as much and have your food delivered, and you're gonna have like twice as much garbage as if you went to the restaurant and ate at the restaurant. You're gonna have like maybe even more than twice as much garbage. And it's all styrofoam. So how is that climate friendly?
Because you can feed styrofoam to mealworms.
Oh yeah, I forgot. And then you can eat the
And then you
mealworms.
can eat the mealworms. Oh.
That makes
But
me
you're
sad.
absolutely right. There's a definitely a war on thrift. And
A war
there's
on
a lot of
what?
economists that thrift.
Thrift.
Yeah, they don't want us thrifty. So, like when you go and you go to me too, when I go and I go and buy stuff at Goodwill, I'm not paying taxes on that because that's a used item and it's already been taxed. So they don't want that. They want to be able to tax you every time you use something. So there's going to be a renter's tax too. There's going to be a renter's tax. They want to tax the item as many times as they can. And so if I buy a shirt at Goodwill or at one of the Savers, I don't know, thrift stores, you don't, not only do you get the thing cheaper, you also are not paying taxes on it. The only tax that's going to come out of that store is going to be the property tax and the tax on the income of the person that's running the store.
Mm-hmm.
They want more
But
taxes. They want more taxes.
I was trying to talk about the economy, the problem with thrift from The Economist. It basically means that uh, people that cook for themselves and are very self-sufficient, of course, nobody's getting any money off of them. And they say how it breaks the economy. And it's like, well, one, you built up a terrible economy, and should we actually be going that way? And the other one is that they don't get the money, and you can say the bankers have a big say in it because of or money lending and stuff like that. Which, man, I could go down a rant on credit cards and all that other kind of stuff. Because when you're in debt, I don't want to repeat a Dave Ramsey, but you're definitely a slave.
When you're in
Right.
debt, well, they call it debt slaving. And then they go and they shame you if you try to file bankruptcy. They try to make it act like this is a shameful thing. I don't know if you guys know this or not. Rich people file bankruptcy a lot, and that's how they stay rich.
And guess what?
What?
When you go to the courts, on the left side, there's all these people waiting in line on the criminal side. And you go on the right side, and you go in this nice building, you go up to the 3rd floor to the bankruptcy court, and it's gorgeous and it's beautiful, and there ain't nobody in there.
Mm-hmm. Hardly at all. And good morning, Matt Beebe. You know what? I need to do biology right now, so I'm going to leave you guys for just a moment. And I have never seen this video, so I want to hear a book report when I get back. I'll be right back.
No matter how productive you've been in the past, sometimes it can be difficult to muster the energy to start working on a big project, stick with a new habit, or tackle a massive to-do list. While no one is immune from procrastination, there is one really simple way to trick your brain into pushing past the inertia that most of us feel at the beginning of a really difficult task. In this video, I want to introduce you to the 5-minute rule, why it works, and how you can use it to finally get started on the things that you've been avoiding. This portion of my video is brought to you by Google. October is Cybersecurity Awareness Month, and so I've teamed up with Google to help you protect your accounts from the biggest online security threats. And no, it's not hackers in ski masks. Believe it or not, it's bad passwords. I've been there before. You pick out a password that's easy to remember. Maybe it's your mother's maiden name, street address, or Skater Boy 8. Yes, that's with the number 8. And then you proceed to use it across every single platform. The problem? Those details aren't difficult to guess, and your passwords are your last line of defense for all of your important accounts, from your bank to your email. Thankfully, Google Password Manager has you covered. It's the safe and easy way to create, securely save, and fill in passwords for all of your accounts. Even better, Google Password Manager now offers a new feature to check if your saved passwords have been exposed to any recent public data breaches. If I know you like I think I do, you've been procrastinating changing your passwords for a really long time. But trust me, it's not nearly as painful as it sounds. Click the link in the description below to learn more about how to keep your account secure with Google. Thanks to Google for sponsoring this portion of my video. Before we get to what the 5-minute rule is and why it's so effective, we need to first take a step back to understand why it seems like we're wired for failure in the first place. People hate being uncomfortable, so we've evolved powerful systems to take over when we feel threatened, anxious, or when we're in imminent danger. You know, so we don't die. Touch a hot stove, you pull away without even thinking about it. Hear a siren, you flinch and cover your ears. See something that looks like a tiger, your heart starts racing and you get ready to make a run for it. It doesn't matter that it's just a guy in a tiger print t-shirt. Your body doesn't need much of an excuse to pull the ripcord. You know this as the fight or flight response. And while this is a really great way to not die, it wasn't exactly designed for the mental and emotional pain that we're often faced with in the modern world. Unfortunately, thanks to millions of years of evolution, this is the operating system that we're given when we're born. To your limbic system, the anxiety you feel at the thought of giving a big presentation is the exact same as the panic you experience when a spider the size of a guinea pig tries to take a shower with you. Any perceived threat, from monstrous spiders to looming deadlines, triggers that rush of adrenaline and cortisol that activates your body's most powerful defense systems. And once that red alert goes off, your body will do almost anything to prevent itself from being in harm's way. And believe it or not, this is where procrastination comes in. In their book, Switch, How to Change Things When Change is Hard, Chip and Dan Heath explain that procrastination is the result of the conflict between the emotional and logical sides of our brains. In a nutshell, the emotional side of our brain is always looking for comfort and reassurance, so it wants to avoid difficult tasks that don't offer an immediate reward. This side of your brain is why you can't seem to go for a run in the morning, even though you downloaded a sweet playlist. The other side of your brain, the rational side, is great at long-term planning. While this might seem perfect for tackling difficult projects, this side can get spun out, overthinking things if a task seems too complicated. It's paralysis by analysis. So how do you outsmart your brain's big red panic button when you know you have to get something done? The answer is almost offensively simple. Lower the stakes. Writing a novel can take years of rewrites. Training to run a marathon
Okay, you see how you get things done? You just set the bar lower. How many videos played? Is anyone still there? You guys are still there. Have I fallen offline?
Yep, yep.
No, I'm here. I was listening to it. It was kind of making me like agitated for some reason because I was
Yes,
like, "Oh, what are you telling me? Like you're like putting these things in my head. Like I don't know."
it was an exercise in exposure to some
Okay, I got this
really.
cutest little video.
What is it? Oh, we
Okay,
we
it's
don't
this
even
one.
want to talk about what we partially watched, do we?
Let me see if I can get it on here. Oh shoot,
Can
no,
you
that's not this.
imagine? Just lower the bar. Just lower the bar. You want to get things done, just don't do as much. Wow. And then it starts out with that stupid ass ad for the password protection through Google. I mean, what would you expect? This video is sponsored by Google.
Yeah, no, don't give Google your password.
Ugh.
But there is something to say. Don't take on an entire big task at once.
Well,
You know, work on it slowly and then come back to it. Do something else.
yeah,
So
make sure you're like doing it correctly.
procrastination can actually be good.
If it gives you time to think and stuff. And good morning,
Yeah.
Slop, and good morning, 45-1 Actual. Ugh. But some of the stuff coming out these days is like talking about lowering the bar so low, and it's like you're moving into periods of non-productivity, like actually promoting not being productive. I guess they're trying to get people ready to just be told what to do 24/7. A constant nanny state is what I'm getting. Am I off base?
I don't know. Anyways, this was,
I have
yeah, no, totally, totally. I put this little video here. It was so cute of this little boy telling his mom something. It's like one of them shorts.
Are you
It's
sharing the
cute. It's
audio?
cute. I don't normally watch kids, but also it's cute. But then also it's very telling that this little kid can actually say what he's saying.
Okay, one moment. Let me go and throw it up.
Don't throw up.
I'm gonna throw up.
If he could do it,
This isn't a movie.
he believed in himself. And you can too.
Oh man, you gonna put it on me like that?
You can do anything that you want. You can get singing lessons, get a better job, make more money. You could be even like rich. You could live in the White House someday. You could be president.
Me?
Do what you want to do.
You're
It's
amazing.
not about up. It's not up to other people.
It's true.
It's up to you.
It's true. I love you.
If
Well, that child might be okay. So, some takeaways.
It sounds like a lot of regurgitation.
Well, that if that child actually espouses those beliefs, that would be like good. Now it is by the Reader's Digest, so a little questionable on that one. Thank you, Matt BB, for the support. Meme loader, have no idea what it is. I guess I'll go look it up later. This child, good. If this child sounds like base parenting, it sounds like the mom is proud of the child, and aspirations, wonderful, absolutely wonderful. I hope this child doesn't end up just absolutely disappointed in life. I'm going to pray for this child right now. Thank you, Cowgirl. That is a cute video. It is a cute video.
Yeah, I don't
There was
usually watch.
something.
Go ahead and
Sorry, there was something I kind of missed on the topic earlier.
What is it?
I did post a one of the top stories of today was like how teachers are coming out and saying they're indoctrinating your kids, and they say it was one lady that said, "Oh yes, we're absolutely indoctrinating your kids," right? And I think like everything's just getting really really packed in with the schools, and I see a lot of it like money. And I went to go down a little rabbit hole of researching of like, oh, what are they trying to do? And I came across like the autisms again, and they say like, oh, it's on a spectrum, and they had a bunch of supposedly autistic people, and I think they may have only really had one legitimately autistic person there, and everybody else is like we were all told we're autistic, right? Another person had to have somebody like actually hold them and keep them from like shaking and falling down to the ground. But they just spread, you know, just spread what things are across the entire groups of people. And they do it after they get X amount of funding for it. They're like, well, you get funding for, each 100 person that has it. Therefore, it just spreads out, across more people. More people, more funding.
Is it really just all about the money? Oh. And
Yeah.
I want to say something about spectrums. When I was growing up, we called it a range. I don't know why they changed it to spectrum.
Because it's a prettier
Well,
word.
because they get more people in it.
Ugh.
Yeah, it's a bigger umbrella.
That's the problem with the whole spectrum thing, the spectrum application, is they end up getting people into these spectrums who don't want to be associated with the people who they're trying to lump them in with. Oh, it's just so segregating.
And you labeling theory, okay, so once you've been labeled something, that's what you are. And you don't have to be labeled by a doctor to be that thing. You could just label yourself that, or so we know how this works in gender. If I label myself female, then I can apply for the SB 132 and move into the female prison, even though I am a 7'7", 300-pound male, fully intact, and I don't wear makeup, and I don't like fingernail polish, and I don't like to wear dresses, and I do like to have sex with women, but I am in the spectrum of I'm a woman because I said I am. So I've labeled myself something, so now I am that. So it works the same with everything else. Whatever you want to label yourself, or whatever somebody else labels you, doesn't have to be a doctor, doesn't have to be a teacher. You now have that label.
Kevin,
Labeling theory.
Kevin, did I send you the one video from SFO of what is a woman? I think I sent you that video.
I don't think you sent it yet. I'm going to play this video while you're getting that link up. And thank you,
Oh,
Kelly,
do
on
you
the
want it?
labeling theory.
I'll find it again.
What's up?
Did you want it? Because
yeah, you can like drop it either in Odysee or just see. I just want to see what this thing is. And thank you, Kelly, for the labeling theory explanation.
And one more thing.
Yes.
I just want to say, I don't typically watch children on the internet. I find it disgusting. And when I was on Facebook and I had friends that were always posting pictures of the babies and stuff, I'd tell them, please don't post pictures of your children. It's not safe.
Right.
And more often than not, I would, if it was somebody that just persisted on doing it, I would just delete that person off my page, because I think childhood is something, and this is my Christian beliefs. This is my beliefs as a woman who has lived in a privileged life. I'm not going to deny I grew up in a white upper class neighborhood. To me, childhood is a precious thing, and children shouldn't be touched. That's just how I feel, and I know that there are other people here that feel the same way. And you didn't grow up in the same environment that I did. I was hurt as a child. Okay, I was hurt. I was abused. Okay, my life was not perfect. Just because I had all those great intersectionalities. Are those still intersectionalities? Yeah.
Yes.
Life, that didn't mean that I was, or that any of the other ones had escaped any of this bullshit. Because I have testified before, my 12-year-old girlfriends were definitely having sex with older men.
Oh.
Definitely.
Ugh.
And I'm trying not to have these feelings that we were trafficked. I'm trying not to have those feelings. But I do believe that we just didn't know we were being trafficked.
They've been like
we didn't know it.
There have been sick motherfuckers for a long time.
It's there's nothing new under the sun.
What's new
it's
is
just
how
come to
we're
light
treating
because,
them, though.
Yeah, it's come to light because of the internet.
you think it would have come to light, like we would have taken some of those old posturings and we'd be like, you know what? You don't get to act like that in our society. But no, somehow
Well,
along the
we
way,
are, but we're called turf or whatever. So
somewhere
it's
along the
okay.
way, we made it
It's
okay, and
okay.
that's just, as far as I'm concerned, that's not okay. That is not okay.
Yeah, no, it's not okay. So we're climbing our way.
All right.
We're climbing our way out of the muck and the mire.
Good morning, American Rant. Good morning, American Citizen, and Reverend Rant. All those names you go by. You go by too many names. The Jitsi link? Yes. One moment. Then I want to play this. How do you not have the Jitsi link? It's right below the video.
Yeah, it is. Well, I hope that these topics continue to evolve, and that the words of the Posey. What's her name again? Posey.
Posey Parker?
Posey Parker. Posey Parker and Laura Logan and what was the other one that we just posted? The guild lady that quit. I hope that these journalists that want to be journalists get their chance to shine. I really do hope that they can get out there. Yeah, I love Posey Parker. She has a great look. She's no holds barred. She says it like she means it, and she means it like she says it. And she
Uh-huh.
is going to places to speak. She's out there. She's put herself out there, and I admire her. I admire her strength. I don't want. No, I'm not going to wish for that strength. I don't want God to give me that strength. I already have my anxiety and stuff like that, and I just don't know that I could.
She gets
I don't
attacked a
know.
lot.
She does.
She gets attacked
I
24/7. She's getting attacked.
I want to just pray for her right now because that's a lot of energy coming at a person.
Yeah, it is.
That's a lot of energy, and maybe that's what's going to give her strength too. So to me, it just makes my head just even thinking about that energy just makes me go, woo woo woo.
Yes, it's one of those things. It's like you want to walk in someone else's shoes, well then take a look at like what they go through and then maybe not. It's like at the same time, I support Posey Parker and like what she's doing. I don't like everything she's doing. However, I like quite a bit. It's especially when she's talking about the erasure of actual female spaces and stuff. I fully support that people not erase that kind of,
Yeah,
what do you
like the
call it?
female prison.
Well,
Don't
it's just, yeah, and it's a prison
don't
without
erase the female
walls.
prison.
It's a prison without
I
walls
don't.
too.
Yeah.
It's like no matter where you go, it's like we can't have a society like that. In my opinion, in my world, I don't want a society where my sister or my mother or my aunt are like looked at as objects in society where they can just be dismissed. I don't want my mother or my sister or any of my female relatives or any of my female acquaintances or friends. I don't want them living like that. That's a horrible existence. What a horrible thing to tell someone, that just because some surgery can allow a male to take on and espouse the guise of femininity, that makes that their actual lived feminine experience less. What a monstrous thing to do. What a very insidious and I can't tolerate that. If I'm following along and like what you're saying and like the vibe you're laying down, am I, Callie? Am I on track with what you're saying?
Yeah, you're totally on track. I'm totally in this space right now. I'm in my head, and I'm like, I don't want to cry, but to think that I walk around with my head held high, and I meet people and greet people, uh, regardless of who they are,
Mm-hmm.
and take them and take them as a human. That's a human, and to be dehumanized and to be limited, and to be isolated is a form of abuse.
It is.
So
Well, yeah, isolation itself, especially when it's imposed on you, is abuse.
being a woman is very isolating. It's not. It's not always. That's not where. I mean, I know we don't live in that isolation because as women, I know why the cage bird sings. That's all I can say
Well,
at this point
it's
about
not
it.
it's not the same. What I'm about to say is not the same thing, so I'm not making equations on this. I will say masculine men are being treated along those lines, not the
Yeah.
same.
Well, absolutely.
And it's this whole deconstruction of what we have known as what are the functions of a healthy society. And there are people out there supporting the destruction of a healthy society to replace it with a society where the inhabitants of are simply led around, not understanding their worth, not understanding their value. These we see it in our culture today, where there's no real originality coming out of what is being presented. Now, in this group where we are, amongst the people who we are currently with, we find plenty of originality. We also see that their originality is looked at as a toxin on society. Like, how dare you have an original thought which doesn't toe the line of the narrative being promoted. It's antithetical to whatever these really shallow but powerful individuals have going on in the world. I mean, it is at a global level. I find it, I'm like segueing off a little bit. I find it very, very odd that I'm hearing from Britain that they talk about like this is the highest inflation they've ever seen in 40 years. I thought that was our line. I thought that was our plight in America. It turns out a lot of these talking points are being spoken of by other news agencies around the world. Mockingbird Media must be very large. That all of these mainstream media outlets across the globe are regurgitating the same thing just in different languages. I know I just went off topic of what we were talking about, but I'm talking about the hypnosis of what we've been told to accept and the biological female erasure, biological masculine erasure. What exactly are they trying to turn us into? What exactly is their end goal here? What are they trying to remove? And then the Christian aspects, they're trying to remove the Christian aspects. What's going to happen when they try removing Allah from the Muslims? I'd like to be around when they try to do that, because I can't imagine that's going to go over very well. Pardon me?
I can explain some of it for you.
Go on, Mr. Reverend Rant. Go on, do it.
All right. I'm going to hit a couple things real quick, actually.
Yes.
I was waiting. You're such an eloquent speaker. I don't want to interrupt you.
Wow.
And you guys are having an amazing conversation this morning. But first and foremost, I want to point out that the controversy over all of my names is really simply put.
What is
My
it?
show is the American Rant Show. I am an American citizen, and my name is Reverend Rant.
There you go.
So, second quick point is that when you guys were talking about keeping children's lives private, protecting our most sacred resources, you are exactly on the money. Exactly on the money. That is the godly point of view. And then now to our current topic at hand, and you were worried about, that you were segueing or all over the place with your talking points, but the reality is you're not. I think you're subconsciously trying to figure out how to express what your brain recognizes. The issues going on are around the world. They're not just in the United States. but they're around the world in the same way that the federal bank is around the world, that the World Economic Forum is around the world. These are the same people doing this to everywhere, not just to us. The demons that we face is on a global level, absolutely. And what they're doing, they try to stir up these emotions like who matters more, Black Lives Matter, and these racial divides and this intersectionality of identity, and tearing down toxic masculinity and destroying feminism with feminism, if you can figure that out. They're actually doing that. They're tearing away our self identities. They're tearing away our cultural identities. They're tearing away our family identities, all in the supposed name of each of us, protecting our identities. They're tearing it away, and you're absolutely on point. But here's the motivation behind it.
Go.
They want to turn us into a sci-fi movie. They want to do post-humanism to where even your own personal identity, like they're trying to, okay, some people have gender dysphoria.
Yes.
Imagine being a child and growing up, and your culture tells you, everything around you tells you that your identity as who you are is completely wrong. Not your sexual identity, but literally completely who you are is wrong, and now you have identity dysphoria.
Yes. I've talked about, yes, go on.
You could be taller. You could be stronger. You could be this. You could be that. And they want you to literally be the product. Like the sci-fi movies where you can go in and get if you save up some money, you can go get your robot legs and shit like that.
Yes.
That's the game they're playing. That's what they're shooting towards. They want to make the medical industry control society.
So,
the people that are in, excuse me, the people that are in the Federal Reserve, the World Economic Forum, all the investment foundations, they're all the same group of people that control the medical industry and founded it. Rockefeller is the backbone of all the crazy bullshit we see today that we call our medical industry. It's 100% out of Rockefeller's pockets. But everybody else is involved in this as well. And this is the game they're playing. They want to control us through all of this.
and what it amounts to is pain and addiction in the end, because none of this comes without pain. All these like surgeries and stuff.
Yeah.
Pain, and then to give you drugs. So it's like they want a society addicted to pain and drugs.
Well, they tell people, yeah, they absolutely do, yeah. I mean, think about this, okay?
Go on.
And you'll understand some of this, based on what you went through. They're telling people who have anxiety issues in life that, oh, you need our drugs, you need to feel better, you need to go through life and not feel any pain or any anxiety ever. Well, the reality is that life is hard, and we're given the feeling of anxiety and fear for a reason. It's what keeps us safe and what keeps us motivated. And the medical industry is saying, no, you should never have to feel that. Here, take this Xanax or take these pills and I'll make you feel better. And the hard truth is that everybody needs to adult the fuck up and realize that, you know what, some days life sucks. Some days, shit gets scary. Some days you have to make hard decisions. That's the facts of life. We don't get to hide from it. But this is what the medical industry is trying to do, because that gives them control, that gives them the money, everything.
Well, in the future, I'm wondering, what are they going to get? Like, let's take the premise of you'll own nothing and you'll be happy. So, what do you have to give to them which satisfies their desire for what you have? If you have nothing.
That's the part I don't get. They're driven by more. What happens when there's not more to take? The only thing that I see, the only outcome is one, they will never be fulfilled in their quest for retarded levels of retard, they will never be fulfilled. They will never be satisfied. And then two, the only thing that I see the population doing is going towards literally like Nazi Germany, like literally under Hitler. The socialist slash fascist ideal is if you're not useful or productive to society, then you are unnecessary to be euthanized.
Well, then I
This
wonder
was,
where would that leave
yeah,
people if you have nothing to offer society, but society expects nothing from you because the bar has been lowered to the point where all you need to do is regurgitate the old things, as we're seeing these days. There's not
right,
much originality in the mainstream. It's simply regurgitation of old stuff. Then
exactly.
what is there left to give except for the creatives? Who, why are the creatives being oppressed? That's my question on this. Is we have creative individuals who do not toe the line of the narrative,
Yeah,
yet they're very creative. Why would these people want to suppress and oppress the creatives? That makes no sense. One would think that that would be very titillating for a person who has too much power. New things, I would want that. If I had too much power, I wouldn't want the same thing over and over. I'd want new things.
Yeah,
right. But
when you
what
need
if,
a challenge.
I wonder if they're doing this. I wonder if the people who have too much power are doing this because I often wonder this. Are they bored? Is this what they're doing?
exactly,
There's
exactly.
they're causing pain on society because they know that there are creative people out there and they know that there are
No,
people who also only regurgitate. They're not interested in the regurgitators. They're interested in the innovators. And so
but you hit the head on the nail the first time. They're bored. They're looking for something to titillate and stimulate because they've accomplished so easily already, or they were handed so easily already the keys to the castle. So there's no more struggle. There's nothing to challenge them, and they want to be challenged, and that's the game. The problem is that most of these people are actually in their own way quite literally retarded as developmentally disabled when it comes particularly to the social aspect of life. These people are delusional and disconnected because they live their lives disconnected and they haven't thought out, like you have. That's one of the things I love about you, Kevin, is you are a fantastic mind. You are really good at seeing the bigger picture. You're definitely a critical thinker, and I value that a lot. And that's the thing is that you're seeing and I'm seeing what they're not seeing. And so the ultimate outcome here, and I thought about this a lot. I studied a lot. I'm actually a pretty big nerd myself. And if you look at it as a game of strategy or chess, kind of like you have, like what's the outcome? What's the motivation? What's the next play? And when you look at that, you realize that it always comes to the same conclusion, especially when compared to history, it's going to come to the same conclusion. It's either going to be revolution or death. That's it. The
yes.
bad guys are going to find a bad case of death, and that's going to be the only outcome. The questions could be is how much does everybody else suffer before they decide to do it, but it goes down the same path no matter which way we do it. We're heading towards we're heading towards a world war. I mean, we talk a lot about civil war, but this is going to happen on a worldwide level. And I think really, like we see a lot of other countries leading the way in unrest, when they start stirring up and going after their politicians. But I think the real fire is going to be lit when America leads the way. We are, and not to sound arrogant, I just truly believe it because everything we are is predicated on God's word. Our Constitution and everything that we believe in, that we value in life, is predicated on God's word, God's moral foundations and principles. And so I do believe that when we start the fire here, when everything goes kinetic here, I think that's when it's going to spread around the world.
Can I give my 2 cents on the subject?
Definitely.
Well, I think it's really a push to more of a oligarchy. I mean, I always hear them. I was going to say earlier, you hear them say it's a threat against our democracy. Well, they don't have a democracy. We have a republic. They're trying to push everybody into that oligarchy kind of area. So if we look at what they're trying to do when they say, "Well, you own nothing and you'll be happy," well, the government is going to be the one that owns everything, right? So if you're part of the oligarchy, such as like China or other places like that, especially in North Korea, it's the government. And if you're really buddy buddy with the government, then you actually get stuff. You don't own it; the government does, but you're on their side. So technically, you're the only one that owns it. But you also have to realize, well, how do you control people that stand to gain nothing? Well, that's through food, right? And there's a lot of studies that the government did that was actually controlling people through hunger and just having them eat carbohydrates, right? Your body really needs meat. It's only really the only tight. How do you say that word? Uh,
Protein.
yeah, protein makes you feel full. It makes you right build your body. Your hair grows because of protein, right?
Right.
And you need it. But if you let somebody only have carbohydrates, then they'll actually be forced to get an addiction to get more of that. So now you have control over your general populations.
Right.
That's what I noticed when I was growing up. I have spoken about this before and like what was available in our supermarkets. Our supermarkets back then looked nothing like they do now.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
like
I
they,
think that's the push for no meat is because they can actually control people with carbohydrates only, and you'll be forced to only get like carbohydrates, and you'll basically starve.
well, that's like being a vegan to some extent. I mean, granted, you can get some proteins through beans and such. However, you never get a
They're
complete
cheap.
protein
Um,
unless you're actually eating a meat. It's
yeah, they're low on the protein index. Even peanut butter is
yeah.
how
So
bioavailable things are,
I
but
have
it's
a
more than that.
I have a quick point to make. I think most people don't realize is one, and I don't mean this to be argumentative, but this is something I found out, doing study is we're not a democracy or a republic, and
Are
that's a
you,
sad truth.
are you gonna say
We are
corporation?
we are the oligarchy.
Ah,
Ever since February 21st, 1871, we have been a corporation that has subverted the Republic of the United States of America. This is historical fact. You can look this up.
I don't
We've been.
dispute that.
I'm sorry.
I don't dispute that. I don't because
Yeah.
I kind of figured that's where you're going. I thought you were going to say corporation, and I see it. I see it. Go
Yeah.
on.
So here's the thing: is that and this is the thing that I find fascinating when I study the big picture is that between the left and the right, they're actually both right. All this political bickering that we're doing, and both sides are right and absolutely wrong at the same time. And what I mean by this is that okay, like on the left, they're fascinated with communism and everything else because they think capitalism is evil. Well, the problem is that our country is already controlled by oligarchy. The oligarchs already control our politicians. That's not something that's gonna happen. It's something that has already happened. We are the oligarchy from top to bottom. So they have this idea that capitalism is bad based on what they see, and then on the right, people say that well, capitalism is fantastic, but we just have these few things to figure out. Well, they also are not seeing the real capitalism. The real capitalism is a free market where no one entity is in control of it. So that's the game they're playing, and the problem now is that what we have going on around the world is all based on oligarchy. It's just one group, and if I remember correctly, it's 32 names are doing this to the entire world, all oligarchy. And then also, you're exactly right on the food because that's the game. They want to stay in charge. They just haven't planned out what they could do, to make it sustainable because what they're doing is absolutely destructive. There is no plus or positive to the game they're playing. And if you think of everything as like a math problem, when you continually subtract, at some point you hit zero, and then you have to make decisions when you hit zero. And it's the same thing with the food thing. When when you make enough food to feed so many people, but you end up with more people, then what do you have to do? You have to start killing people, or you can't produce more food. And that's why it always turns into a subtraction issue. That's why it always turns into death. It always turns into, they decide they got to depopulate. Well, what's the best way to depopulate? Well, let's start with our political opponents, and that'll make life easier. And that's the game they're playing.
And that's something I've been thinking about when I read through these articles. For instance, I do this. And I don't voice this, but this is something that goes on in my head and something that often makes me sigh when I'm reading these stories. I think about things like this. Man arrested for allegedly vandalizing menorah. Okay? I read that, and then in my mind I'm thinking versus depopulation agenda. And I read all these articles, okay? These headlines, and then I read the articles, and
Right.
I'm thinking to myself, this is for people to distract them from the depopulation agenda. I don't voice that. It's probably the first time I've ever voiced that to any of you all. But when I look at these stories, I'm like, there's a much bigger issue at play here. And it's about dominance and control. And when I'm reading these stories, I'm like, these are all pieces of how dominance and control are executed by giving people these emotional stories. Paddleboard teens miraculously rescued after drifting miles in strong winds. James Gunn's addresses outcry over planned. I mean, you look at where they put the quotes. I mean, they kind of give themselves away by where they put the quotes in their headlines.
Yeah.
It's meant to elicit an emotional response which distracts. And so many of these stories are just vapid pablum.
And I'll give you a quick clue in the middle of it.
Go on.
One of my favorite things to do, and I think a lot of us need to focus, especially the digital army, we need to start addressing the people that write these articles. Because if you go through all of the news sites, particularly the propaganda retard outlet sites, CNN and MSNBC, Huffington Post, um, you find that it's the same group of writers. Like
Yes.
this isn't some big diverse group, and all of these outlets are sharing the same byline writers. Like this Mary Pappenfuss. If you look her up, that little piece of shit has wrote the most nasty hit piece garbage that you could ever expect to come out of somebody's pie hole, and they're all using her, all of them.
And that's just like what I did right here. I pulled Deidre McPhillips from CNN. Well, it turns out Deidre McPhillips doesn't work for CNN at all. Deidre McPhillips is actually a data editor at U.S. News and World Report, overseeing and conducting data collection. This is not a journalist, yet this is the person who they said wrote the article for what I just pulled out of CNN. I have done this before, and I think that you guys have seen me, where I have pulled the journalists and gone through their bio. And
Right.
shock to no one, a lot of these journalists are from the CCP. They've been trained in China propaganda.
Or if you start digging into their money, you find that they're also, funded by Soros. Which let's consider something for a minute, if we could. All these douchebags crying, "Oh, you're a Nazi! Oh, you're a Nazi! You disagreed with me about something. You're a Nazi!" They're all getting their money from an actual Nazi. George Soros was a Nazi. He idolizes what Hitler did. He
Mm-hmm.
has literally said this. The same thing with Ukraine. Ukraine is still controlled and operated by Nazis. These people idolize everything that the Nazis did. They turn around and scream, "Oh, you're a fascist. Everything you do, you support Trump, that makes you a fascist." Even though Mussolini instigated the idea of fascism, which literally meant to bundle together, to fasten fascism, all of the people for the government in one instead of the government for the people. And Hitler was the greatest example of what fascism is at its extreme. Hitler was the ultimate fascist. These people idolize everything that he did. They want to put us in concentration camps. They want to put us in gas chambers. These dumbasses have all said this out loud. And yet they turn around and scream at everybody else for doing, opposite of what they're doing, which is what they're screaming.
Yeah.
I know, crazy, right?
Pardon me? What was that last part?
I said, I know, crazy, right?
It's evident. While Reverend Rant was putting that together very, very well, I might add. I'm doing like a little research on Priscilla Alvarez. Just go and pick and choose whoever you want, like a journalist, and just do like a little bit of digging. I mean, they
Yeah.
when you have people getting moved from media to the White House, to me, coming from the military, that says incoming propaganda artist.
Right. You're exactly right. Well, part of the problem is this, is that too many of the writers, when we see a story like in Huffington Post that's offensive, we get mad at the Huffington Post. We'll go out and shit talk the Huffington Post. But nobody thinks to go after the person who actually wrote the article. And the one thing I've been trying to inspire everybody is to, first and foremost, it's time for the digital army. Now it's time to go out and speak hard. Now it's time to push back, slap back, whatever you want to call it. We need to let these fuckers know that they can't do
Yeah.
what they're doing. And I've been trying to encourage everybody in doing this. Let's do this exactly. Almost every single one of these dumbass um, shit story writers have Twitter accounts.
Yeah, or
Let's get
tribal now, or tribal.
Yeah. And that's the thing is we need to go to all these places and get in their faces. And the greatest thing we can do is remind them that, hey, if you push this to civil war with your propaganda, we're coming to your doorstep. You don't get to hide. So keep that in mind. As you push this forward, we're coming to your doorstep. We are paying attention to you. We're coming to your doorstep. And if they think they're tough enough to fight out a civil war, then so be it. But here's the thing is that if we have civil war, none of us are tough enough to fight it out. None of us are so badass that we won't, have an extreme risk of dying in the middle of it. Anybody that lives through a civil war lives purely because luck is circumstance. None of us are that badass.
See, I think that's
See what I'm
why
saying?
earlier, months ago, when I was sitting with you guys in a jitsi, I noticed that there was some house cleaning going on. And what I mean by house cleaning is it was finding out where people were sitting on the tasks at hand. Are we all on the same page? And correct me if I'm like diverting off here. Are we all on the same page? Because Reverend is correct. We can't do this as individuals. We would have to come together. Are we all on the same page, though? Are we all fighting for the same thing?
Well, it's saying people have different jobs. So everybody just kind of like, hey, I want to do this and I want to do that. And, you have people like Magical Trevor or 2M does his own thing. And
No, you're absolutely right. There is a piece of it everybody can do. Not everybody can be as eloquent of a shit poster as I am. I get that, but we all have a piece we can do. The question is who's doing something and who's doing nothing, and it's time to do something.
I
And
think
what we do,
organizing.
pardon me?
I think the big subject will be organizing.
What do people want? What's really,
Yeah,
really
everybody
important?
has their part. There's all the pieces. The problem's putting all the pieces together and making them function as one machine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, the idea is resisting, actively resisting what's currently being brought down by not taking a part in the systems at place. To a certain degree, I know I will never be 100% out of the system I fight against unless I completely remove myself from that system. I don't know what that would look like,
Or,
quite
or if
frankly,
we completely remove the system.
or completely remove the system. And even then, it's like after the system is gone, it is a matter of picking up whatever is left behind and making something which works. I do have a memory of a society I came from a long time ago where things worked because there was accountability and there were consequences for actions. I think that's
Man.
what's been lost is people's fear of consequence. I think that what they're trying to get us afraid of
Well,
is they're trying to get us to the point where we fear losing comfort above all. That comfort somehow has replaced merit. That it's more important to be comfortable than it is to be
well,
respectable.
they want us to be
100%.
afraid of each other too.
To what?
To be afraid of each other as well. When they
That's
take away the accountability, look at all these dumbasses that have temper tantrums in public. They're doing these horribly violent things over an emotional reaction, not even for any particular reason.
I think you really nailed it on the head there, Kevin. Of trying to make people comfort, but they also control people when people are uncomfortable, right? So everybody gets offended really, really easy, and then they'll have like the Antifa people that would go out and like destroy cities. And oh my God, we have to do something about this now, right?
oh, I would prefer respect. I would prefer that we can respect each other because we're respectable people who are um we own our shit. I want to go back to a society where each individual was expected to own the consequences for their actions, to be mature enough to understand I fucked up, therefore I'm going to get fucked now. Or I've done something great, and that means that just because I did something great doesn't mean I get to be rewarded because I was a decent individual and I did something great and I may never get recognition for it.
Right.
I think people I think greed has come too far into our societies and this the comfort levels things have definitely gotten way too comfortable for many people.
Gratification.
Now not everyone's comfortable, that's just it. Is not everyone's comfortable and at the same time I see that there is in the mainstream media people's discomfort stems from a sense of entitlement to where they feel that they are not getting. I mean, let's look at like reparations and oh my gosh, there are so many different arguments and like and so many different speeches which have been had. Right now we're on reparations. What entitles a person to reparations? I'm not looking for an answer or anything. It's just something I'm pondering. Why are we being so distracted from just being decent human beings to one another? Instead, they want us to fight over things we had nothing to do with in the first place. And it's not just reparations, it's all manner of things we have no control of and we're not around to experience when they happened. yet they want us to be upset or feel a certain way about historical matters while changing our history, while removing aspects of everything we're living through, even today, going and throwing up busts and statues of criminals and making it so we must somehow acknowledge them as saints, to look at doctors who have clearly committed genocides who live among us today, and to say that they are our saviors? I don't think so. I need to go address this fan because it just kicked in and it's terribly loud. I'll be right back. I'm also going to
Well,
get
for
some
so
water.
many, the psyop is working. It really is working as they planned. Yeah, there's the few of us, and we're not so few, but we're fewer than the mass.
Is it really so hard to wake up? I mean, is it really so? I mean, how many years? How many years have been like going by that we have met people in our lives over the decades who have been awake? There have been several awakenings throughout our lifetimes, I'm sure, in different capacities around the world. There have been many revivals, awakenings, and then how did we get to this point? What in the world would get us to a point where we would be so tolerant of such absolutely heinous activities against our fellow human beings? What is it? What did they pay us? How were we bribed into this as a society?
Comfort, security.
Well, I don't feel comfortable with this knowledge, and I don't feel secure with this knowledge.
You and I don't, but many do.
Why? Why would anyone feel comfort or security in knowing that they're taking part in a very predatory system? I mean, the system is it is the very rape culture which people are screaming about. It's the very oppression which people say that they want reparations for. It doesn't make any sense to me. Why?
It doesn't to me either.
Pardon me?
It doesn't to me either.
Why would a person want this? Why would a person not want personal liberties? Why would they not want freedom to work within a very respectable society? Why would they want to make it okay to go and sexualize a child but not take any personal responsibility? I just don't get it. It's just so foreign.
But we live in a
Is it?
world of perversion. I mean, the modern world is just complete perversion,
It's the
and
demons.
people get off on that.
It's got to be the demons, and like what Reverend Rant was talking about earlier. It's the emptiness. These people are devoid. They're empty. They lack spirit. I can't. I mean, I remember what it was like to feel empty. I remember what emptiness felt like. I also know what divine saving grace feels like to a certain extent, and it's much more palatable than being constantly craving, like constantly hungry. And the like King of Casual talking about, I believe it was King of Casual talking about high carbohydrate diets. It's like they want everyone to be hungry all the time, a constant nagging hunger, spiritually, physically, mentally, just constantly hungering. Why? If I had power, and if I had that kind of power over people, I would not want to surround myself with a society of individuals who are constantly hungry and constantly in pain. That's hell. That would be hell. Are we in hell?
Well, I don't have a problem with people seeking out comfort. Naturally, I think we should, but what it looks like modernly is completely different than I think what actual comfort is. Actual comfort for me would actually just be out in the woods, with a little cabin, and, with my own life, maybe some neighbors down the road, and just doing my own thing. You know, that
That's
would
the
be
key right
comfort for
there,
me.
seeking out the comfort instead of having it handed to you.
Yeah.
This is your comfort. Here's your comfort. You're
Yeah.
comfortable now.
See, I like working for my comfort. I like it. It causes it doesn't make me actually. it brings about a sense of appreciation. When I work towards things which bring me comfort, I don't want to feel like I'm on vacation. Vacations end. I want, I suppose eventually, even hard work, the vestiges of hard work eventually end as well. I mean, all things do eventually end. However, when properly put together by one's own ability, those comforts seem to last longer until someone who doesn't appreciate. It's that respect thing. It comes down to respect again. It's like those who do not respect other people's environments are the ones who tend to destroy the environment. We have powerful individuals who do not respect other people. I think it would be a good thing to wake up to is to realize that the people who are trying to give you all the things you thought you ever wanted are the very ones building the cage for you.
Yep. And the digital age has really accelerated that. I mean, how often do you have a one-on-one conversation with somebody and have an actual conversation where it's not just talking points that they've heard from somewhere else, that there's no fact. There's fact, but there's no fact in your mind or their mind as to what they're actually fucking talking about. It's all just talking points, and it spreads like a fucking cancer.
I do have one friend outside of this group. His name is Keenan, and we have talks where we don't speak about talking points. We don't speak about the news. We speak about things which are in our minds. Kind of like what's happening right now. They tend to get
Right.
quite heated. They tend to get quite animated, these conversations between he and I. Because
And that's what we miss these days. Everything's a talking point. It's pre-populated. The answers are already there. Somebody wrote them. Somebody shared them. Somebody spread them. You don't think. I mean, even us to a point in this group, we're kind of in an echo chamber. We speak what we feel, but our points come from our communication. Say like here, well, you go with somebody on the other side or a general conversation on the street, and everybody has this pre-populated talking point. Nothing really comes from deep in the mind anymore. It's not a thought out thing. It's a point that's been given to you already. That's my take on it, at least.
I have noticed that. I noticed that unfortunately in my husband. Now my husband is a very cerebral individual. However, he tends to work on talking points. And I know him better than that. I know that he's more than just talking points. But I've watched him over the years devolve into simply talking points. And the notion of actually having a contentious conversation angers him. And
Right.
that is bothersome. Because I don't want I don't want to make my husband angry.
And everybody's guilty of it. I mean, I'm guilty of it a lot of times. I have to stop myself sometimes, be like, what the fuck am I actually talking about? You know?
Well, there's some of our experiences, but you have to have feeling somewhere in there too. I think actually you have a rational thought.
Yeah.
I don't know.
The
I just think
rational
communications
thought.
evolved or
Oh, sorry.
devolved.
Go on. Sorry.
Oh, I'm just saying, I just feel as if the digital world has, in actuality, devolved communication. It's accelerated communication, but in the long run, it's taken away the individuality of communication.
It has. It's like being in art. For me, it's like being in art and poetry. The two classes I took when I was younger in high school. Some artists would take a sculpture. They'd have a piece of stone, something submitted by a student the previous year. And all they would do is they would take the sculpture and drill a hole through it and call it new. It wasn't. It was simply the
Right.
old sculpture, which had the mystery of a new hole in it. Well, then somehow they expected, a grade which was adequate beyond average. It doesn't work. My poetry teacher, bless her heart, had a lovely phrase of like, when all else fails, use glitter. And it was an insult to her students, which I appreciated, where if you could not actually put together a series of words and create something visual and inspiring than just throw a bunch of glitter on it, because you'll never be a poet, but at least you can be audacious. Or is it audacious? Let me look up that word. One moment. Audacious. One moment. Daring, spirited. It gives you the illusion of being audacious. Poetry is supposed to be romantic. You know, poetry and adventure. Glitter, that part of it, is appearing to be daring, spirited, and adventurous. It was an insult. It was not a compliment. My poetry teacher was a right bitch, but she was right. I don't want to live in a world of regurgitation. I don't know.
Yeah, the glitter, the distraction, the shiny spot that takes your focus off of everything else.
Yeah, especially when we've got large things going on. We do have an unhealthy obsession with these people who want us to take medications which are not proven to be of any benefit to us whatsoever, because we have control groups which they think that we're not aware of a whole swath of people who have never taken the sauce. That is an important issue in my mind, not to everyone's mind, but in my mind, it's often not considered that we have a large majority in population of people who have never been shot up with this stuff. And we have a current administration in this country, and there are administrations in other countries, who are bitching at people who haven't taken this 3 years in, saying, you're going to die, you're going to die, you're going to die if you don't take it. You have to take it or you're going to die. Well, we're not dead. And it's been 3 years.
Yeah, haven't even been sick.
And it was supposed to be the worst possible illness since the Spanish flu. Oh, it was supposed to be terrible. There were supposed to be bodies just dropping and hitting the floor, stacking up. And the only bodies I see hitting the floor are the people who went out and did it. And they're dying suddenly. Is that a talking point? No. Not when it's
No.
actually happening.
Yep.
So what do we have now? What's the clock saying? 5 more months? World Economics Forum is saying that we... One moment. I might have to address this. Hello?
Yeah, I don't know. I just speak from my mind, you know. I'm nobody. I'm just a dumb fuck behind a keyboard. But it's how I feel about things.
No, just cancel. Yes, the appointment today, I believe. I'd like to cancel that. Do you need anything more? No. Thank you so much. All right, bye-bye. Oh, cutting ties with the VA Medical Center. I feel so liberated. I feel so fucking liberated. Just saying, get the fuck out of my life. Y'all too woke. Were you saying something while I was answering the phone?
Oh, I was just saying, I just speak what I think. I'm not an intellect. I'm just some dumb fuck behind a keyboard.
Well, aren't we all to some degree?
But you know, like you're saying, so many people live in this fear of it still. That I don't know how it was where you're at, but I remember when this thing first kicked off, and they were talking about reefer trucks full of cadavers, and they literally were converting stadiums here into triage centers, and
yes,
you know, the world was in a fucking panic. Well, that fear is sometimes hard to get out of the heads of people.
Yes,
and I think a lot of people still live in that fear. And then they come and say, well, we've got this magic potion. Take this magic potion. You'll be just fine. And then we came along and say, well, your magic potion is actually poison. Well, you're just an idiot. The government told me, the news told me, the intellects told me that this is going to save the world. You're just a conspiracist. That whole chain of events is such a hard hole to dig out of.
That is something to consider. And you're talking about the people who subscribe to that, who were so
Yes.
sure of themselves, and then they found out
The
that
people that will get
they're
the 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th jab, the subscription to your monthly jab. You're never going to change those people's mind. They've gone this far. There's no turning back.
that is unfortunate. That is terribly unfortunate for them because we're still here. I don't know of one of us. And when I say one of us, I mean one of us who are like, unjabbed. I don't know of any of us who have been killed by anything other than medical intervention. There's only one woman I know of out of the whole community. Her name is Wanda. She's from the Axe Truth community, from the the choppers. We lost Wanda, and it wasn't to COVID. It was because they treated her for COVID, and they fucking murdered her. From her daughter's testimony, I don't know of any person who is unjabbed who has died of COVID. I know of like 2 people who took the fucking shit and they died of whatever, like whether it was like a heart attack or a stroke. I mean, they're both vascular related incidents and the 2 I know of. I don't know what other people, do you guys know of people who took the jab and died?
I
Because
can't say I do.
I have a very, very small sample. I know that my husband, he's on his 4th now. He's taken all of them other than J&J, which was taken off the market. But yeah, he's had the AstraZeneca right now. He's had 4 of them. It was the Pfizer, the Moderna, the what are the other ones? I think he did have J&J. I asked him and he goes, I've had one of each one now. So I think he's had AstraZeneca too. I'm like, why? He goes, because my doctor suggested it, but the doctor he goes to is the one at the VA, at the VA Medical Center. And my doctor suggested the first off, she was like, you need to go and get Johnson and Johnson. I was like, there's not been enough testing. I don't want to take it. Well, then it turned out that Johnson and Johnson was killing people or it wasn't being effective. So I was told it was 100% safe and effective. Well, within a matter of months, it's like, no, it's not. Now that doctor has never suggested that I get the shots since that point. That was like over 2 years ago. However, I've also had a
Pharmaceuticals in general. I mean,
pardon
just
me.
turn on a TV, watch an hour's worth of television.
To what?
Every commercial break, 2 of the commercials are some sort of medication. Do you have headaches? Okay, we'll take this medication, but side effects may include cancer, death, heart failure. It's people are told this shit even in some cases and still can't get past the fact that, oh, here's this miracle potion.
Right? I saw that. What is it?
Pharmaceuticals in general, beyond the vaccine, pharmaceuticals in general are just fucking poisonous trash.
Very much so. My husband and I will like sit there and like listen to those things like what you're talking about. And we'll like look at each other and be like, did they just say that this is this thing? Oh my gosh, you've got to be fucking kidding me. One moment,
Go ahead.
please. Hello? Oh, hi, Dr. Kaka. Hello. Well, I am streaming right now. No, 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 no. I'm putting together a docu-series.
Yep, they know.
You could unless is it quick?
Uh-oh. FBI's as assholes.
What's up?
So how is everybody today?
Good, man.
Lovely.
Yeah.
And about granny gear trying to get work done because I don't have much to do this week. But if I was smart, I'd just get it done and call it quits for the week.
I'm upset because I'm being told that the medicine is no longer
I'm going to be headed to bed here in a minute.
virus is showing that it's not resistant to the
hosting the holidays at my house with shit tons of people is yeah, I'm going to Hawaii next year for Christmas.
Overpriced.
Nice beach in Mexico sounds good.
I've got my nephew's got like an all-state game coming up, like New Year's Eve. So that's going to be cool.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, I'm just lurking a bit. Not feeling that great. Still, I'm recovering. So I keep coughing, so I don't bother coming on too much.
We'd have just thought you were hitting the bong.
You know what really gets me about the whole immigration thing is like get more immigrants, and stuff like that. Yet it's the type of immigrant that they want. Like, yeah, try to get my wife here. Oh, God forbid a Japanese person comes to America.
Yeah,
exactly.
Oh, yeah. You know,
they want to cherry pick.
sister-in-law, exact same story, man. Years and years to get to citizenship. But hey, you know, those poor people, we must help them. We must save them. Come on over. Let's open.
Veteran's wife? No. Mm-mm.
Well, I mean, we've got plenty of people here already that need help. I mean,
yeah, that's it.
Look at the VA. Look at that shit show. I mean, don't they have a big enough of a shit show without, like, taking on this whole, well, we'll give everybody that wants a bottom surgery.
Yeah.
They're kicking people off the base so that they can put more illegal immigrants and then move them in there. So they're kicking veterans, like they live there, off the base so that they can put more illegal immigrants and house them on the base. They're doing that right now.
Well, I mean, they're putting illegals in freaking motels while telling our active military to go get freaking food stamps.
Right.
That's if they're even giving them out.
Well, if you're just a bigot, that's because of our privilege. We must sacrifice our privilege.
Ow.
Your audio's a little low for one.
Sorry, man. I'm working off my laptop.
Somebody, there's a non-headphone user in here.
Me. Is it better when I mute?
Yeah. I don't hear that. Though.
That's cool. Just trying to give Kevin a little cover for his, I don't know if he realizes his mic's hot. He's talking to his doctor, so, you know.
Yeah, I'm trying to cover it up.
Yeah, pretty much.
Should I just kick Kevin so we don't hear his medical stuff?
You can just mute him.
Maybe.
Can I mute?
Or, yeah, if somebody can mute him, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, I muted him. There we go.
Sweet, thanks. Sorry, Kevin.
Yeah, sorry. Should have done that a couple minutes ago.
So does that mean we're off stream? No,
we're on stream.
All right.
And notice grocery stores are pretty empty.
Empty how?
Definitely not like they used to be.
No turkeys, no hams, no cream. Like half the shelves bare. It's pretty bad here.
Ooh.
I should have
It's all
taken
right
some.
out here,
I should have taken pictures. It's unbelievable. No fucking turkeys. Just like these. They had turkeys, but they were the size of a chicken. I have to cook 2 fucking turkeys now, but whatever. I mean, you know, fucking first world problems, like, apparently. Though we're heading quickly towards fucking third world.
Yeah, I'm kind of. I heard a lot of people saying that like there was turkey shortages for Thanksgiving and stuff this year, but I didn't have any problems. Then again, I am surrounded by counties where turkeys actually outnumber people. We got so many damn turkeys, we got wild turkeys.
Yeah, I think it's location situational.
Yeah, I'm like at the end of the supply chain. So pretty much the last stop.
It can't be a supply chain issue. We got Pete Buttigieg in charge of it. I mean, diversity hire. What could go wrong?
Yeah.
Like this has been one of the most non-crazy streams I've been on.
Yeah, I'm just tired, so.
Oh yeah, I work nights, so I'm just trying to keep myself awake.
Yeah. I don't know what I had, but who gives a shit at this point? But man, it was an ass kicker, that was for sure.
Have you looked up what they're saying about, like, do you have a cold, a flu, or a COVID? Like, what's the difference? And it's like literally everything that's bad, you have COVID. Like, that stuff didn't exist before COVID.
Yeah, I don't know. But it's like when one thing's a lie, everything's a lie. So now it's like I have no trust in anything. I mean, it's like if I'm like really sick at everything, don't even bother going to the hospital. They're just gonna make it worse.
That's me too. I'm getting a lot of grief here. I have a surgery I need to have performed that I absolutely refuse to do right now. A, from my consultation with my doctor, and B, I don't trust those fuckers. Not one bit. And that goes for everything.
You go through the VA
shit,
too,
that
correct?
fucking news could come on and tell me, well, the sun's going to come up in the morning. I'd think they were fucking lying.
That's not the sun you're seeing. That's like the reflection of.
Oh no flat Earth today. I can't take it.
That's a fractal reflection of laser beams off the dome.
Oh yeah, the dome.
At this point, who really fucking knows, honestly?
No, but I'm still not gonna.
I hadn't been up there.
I feel like I've flown around enough of the Earth to feel like it's round, but then again, I guess I could always be wrong. But it does seem to go around in a big ball. Because if you just keep going east, you do end up back in the same spot eventually. Or the other way.
Yeah, Eddie, I straight up told my doctor I don't trust a fucking word they're saying.
I've been through their whole therapy thing like that, and it's literally a lie. It's like, basically, I told them straight out, I was like, so I just got to keep telling myself these lies, and I'll feel better.
On that note, I'm going for a smoke break. I'll be back.
Way ahead of you. But you can't, like, even trust, like, something as simple as, hey, I've got my own blood supply arranged just in case something comes up in the surgery. I mean, that baby died.
Right? The only way to trust that is if I put the needle in my arm myself.
Right. It's like even when I go to give blood, I'm not letting them hook me up to that machine that, like, takes it out one side and pumps it back in the other. No. Like, I'll do the bag. You can, like, put the bag in. I'll fill you up a bag. Hell, I'll fill up two. I'm a big dude. Give me two of them. I'll go drink a beer afterwards. Woo-hoo, we'll have a good time.
Yeah, some kind of crazy blood doping there.
I think I heard something about this. Somebody was trying to do an organization of like a pure blood bank.
Yeah, it's not a bad idea, and I'm waiting for. I was waiting for the My Pillow guy to make like an Amazon store. I was ready to pay like even double the price for shit just to not, get completely off of that other system. But it's just nothing materializing.
Mike
Just
Lindell.
yeah, it's too bad. I mean, the My Store's okay, but it's just junk.
Well, one thing you can do with Amazon is if you see something you want, you can usually go to the manufacturer's page and order it directly
Yeah,
and cut them out of it. So that kind of offsets a little bit, like some of the Chinese crap. Which,
yeah,
I mean, that's Chinese crap. What are you going to do?
yeah. I mean, I would even rather buy the Chinese crap than buying the stuff from Amazon. Gotta get more money away from that guy. He's just, he's probably one of the worst. That bozo, whatever his name is.
All right, doctor. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Yeah, Bezos with his penis rocket.
Wow, when you tell the
I'm
VA
glad it
MC,
failed.
when you tell the VA MC that you are leaving, wow, do
Oh,
they ever start
someone's
making...
gonna unmute him.
What the fuck?
You're muted, Kevin.
What the hell? I got
We
muted?
muted you. You were on with your doctor. So
It is amazing.
or somebody did.
It is amazing. You go and tell the
It was
VA
me.
MC that you are like, moving on to another, like you're getting a second opinion, like you're going to go out of state for your care. Man, do the phone calls ever start coming in with the, well, you're going against protocol and like, oh, we really need you to like stay here. It's like, it's about the money. It's about the fucking insurance money for that particular hospital. When I'm like saying, well, I know that mask requirements aren't required at all hospitals. I can go to the Dakotas and get my care if I want to. It's like Bruce and I can make a road trip if I want to. And we can just go out to those hospitals where they don't require you to wear masks. And man, they did not want to hear that because that means that they're not getting money. And so that's 2 phone calls in a row. That's crazy. Okay, sorry. Did I interrupt you guys? Did I interrupt you guys?
Nope, we were filling in while you were out.
Thank you.
No, that's awesome. That's awesome. I'm glad that you can hit back like that.
Yeah.
Does that actually work? Like if you,
Apparently, your mic was
yeah.
still hot on the stream, so you might need to do an edit when you go to post this one.
I don't edit. I put it out there raw. The only person who edits me is Susan. Susan, yesterday she blocked my video from yesterday all over the world, globally. And you want to know why? Will and Grace. Will and Grace and that trashy little segment that they put out, that pansexual thing, got my video blocked on YouTube. So I had to do an auto trim to have that removed. But anyway, let's see, what time is it? It is around 10:48. What do you think, guys? Is that a wrap for the day, or do we have any other topics to be covered? Oh, don't
Sure
ever...
should.
Well, that is... I
Well, the
hate
topics
that.
never end. We can go and go and go and go.
The topics could go and go.
Well, you can after the stream. I'd love to hear your comments of that one video that I posted the link for.
Okay, so that 36-minute video?
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to watch it. I just want to. You could tell me on a like a Matrix or something.
One moment, please. Let me see if I still have that. Where did I put it?
Double speed.
Oh, there it is. Our trans.
Oh yeah.
Oh no.
You can just
Music,
triple
not
speed
double
it.
speed.
Double speed. Okay. Yes. After this stream, I can like watch that probably while I'm uploading, and then give you Matt BB. What the hell? Pansexual is getting oral. Oh, right there. Oh, it's the pan to the face. I love the sound effect my brain is creating for that image. All right. Well, I guess that will do it for a Tuesday show. And yes, tomorrow is Wednesday. My God, are you guys missing 45-1 actual yet? Are you
Yeah, I haven't
guys
even
missing
seen it
having
since
something to
Red
do?
Show.
Yeah.
I know you guys are missing that. All right, one moment, please, while I copy this. You know what? Here, let me copy this over so I have it for later because I want to do some like closing on this over here. Why don't we go see what's going on today? Just in case you guys don't have Rougarou's guide, everyone should have Rougarou's guide at this time. It is a guide put together by Rougarou and Matt BB, or MBB. There's a link for you all. Let's see what's going on today. Tuesday? Well, we've got Pastor Chatelet, and we've got ST7 Live. I don't know. What the hell does that mean? Salt Team 7. But later on today, let's see what happens. Oh, show me. Look at what's happening tonight. We've got we've got Red Dawn Radio Show with the Gorilla Bass. We've got Coffee Talk with Sandra coming up. She's saucy and lots of fun. Meme TV. We've got DJ Maven coming up. I wonder, is 45 Actual going to be on with DJ Maven tonight? Let's tune in and find out. Axe Truth is coming up later on tonight. K Nutter and the Roundtable Disruption. Reynos Roundtable Disruption. That's always fun. I hope, maybe I'll try to stay awake, but probably not. Lord knows I need to be in bed. And we have America Floats tonight. Guys, there is so much based entertainment and programming coming to light. Look at this guide. It is growing by the week. That's fantastic. It's a parallel world. We are living, we need our own like base Madonna to talk about living in a parallel world. So anyway, I think that's it now. Guys, thanks a lot for being here today. And
Thank
God
you.
bless on a Tuesday. We'll see you tomorrow.
Night, friends.
Later.
Later, peeps.